have a
but I heard about
modeling company that was Joplin Purnell is still
let's see here.
It's still operating.
Chris Martin is my boy. Oh, Snarf and okay, first by Administrative Fund 10. Yeah, just not a good one. That is the worst thing.
That is the worst thing ever. In the mainstream,
I like that they put her as the guy though.
Bring it to attention.
It's just one
Right? If we had a media that was worth
I tried standing up for
media,
10,000 media by my brother.
legacy left-wing media and the right-wing media,
So that one.
fucking useless. Equally fucking useless. If they did their job,
I'm sure
created
by
enough pressure
Brian
about the MC2 modeling company in Israel and Israel today, there would be enough public pressure to get it. Maybe Israel would have so much egg on its face.
Oh yeah, so you always know that. You're an
Yeah, they told me that when she posted that they were all just and I was like,
you get DMs about it.
you're like so happy when you post that. They were like, thank God, monster. All right, so this is about Zero again. BC added it again. You want to guess which Shabbos he's going to use here? This is approximately 10 days ago. So I don't think
Daddy's never had to come out.
Daddy's ever been to
He was macchiato.
Oh, he's not. That's what you guess.
Why not? You know, go along.
I'm gonna say, what are we doing here for 8 inches? Voter alert. I'm gonna make my 3 choices. Okay.
You say gimmicky submissions. Are you referencing them against the
That's also, yes, and that's another guy. He didn't have the ability to methodically set it up. He could just jump and then clam it. And that's the good thing. A lot of guys. It's actually very, very effective. You get my point. I'm just saying, the penalty for it is a point and/or DQ. It's not intelligent defense. Building height is intelligent defense. What do you think? Do you think there's another one? Or just secret?
I think I'm gonna go secret.
Okay. Damn, I feel like there's something more special. Let's see.
Control the media.
Yeah,
Something Joe Rogan has really never worked out at all.
fair. We got Dana White reacting to the status quo.
Shout out to BCDC.
Yes, thank you.
Who's this man? He should rehire Rubio to never let him know his next move. Skits and bits.
Oh my God, that's well, that's weird.
Alrighty, let's see here. The guy says Tim's allegations are very long. By haphazard, first by haphazard. Let's see if this is interesting. Maybe it's not, then we'll go next, but I'm going to Mexico City to get to opening a raccoon tweeted HQ there. Please tell people in the city about us.
Yeah, definitely.
We'll transcribe this to Mexican for them. Let's see. For the show, you're going to post this. Yep. So,
I don't think he posted it twice, but it's easy to remember. Yeah, it's like, all right, this is Tim Kennedy referring to, what would you say, Callan? Referring to the...
Tim's done, like, hold on,
let's not get off track here. So, Tim is apologizing for elaborating things that...
Yeah, one of the things he said when he did it, he did a podcast, and he was playing with his dog, whatever, and they said, hey, you want a broad star with a feet? And he said, yeah, and they said, what was the story? And he goes, pretty easy, I shot back, and then he shot back, and that was it, or whatever.
And if a dog was attacking me and somebody asked me, like, what I wanted from Chipotle, I would get my order right. You know what I mean? Yeah. White rice, black beans, chicken. You know what I mean?
Yes.
I want to be like, whatever you want. You know?
No, you're 100% right.
Yeah.
I like the idea of using that as an excuse. Like, he's like, you got, like, well, I lied about cheating on you, but I was, like, petting our dog. If you had asked when our cute, beautiful dog that we would have to share one of us keys.
I was talking about 2 hours ago. Is that the one you were talking about earlier in space?
I haven't seen any posts.
I'm keeping the dog.
So Thomas Massey said 2 hours ago, so
Playing
now
with
he's
your
checking
dog,
my
and
wife.
he's like, yeah, I got Valor.
3 times. Maybe someone
doesn't
knows
make any
she's
sense.
actually the one who suggested I ask Pam Bondi in
You
person.
said it. It's not like you
Dinner when we
misheard
get
them.
phase 2
Right?
of Epstein.
You
Bondi
said that you
there
got
were no more
the Bronx
files
Star Valley.
they
like
say
it.
the rest is history.
Very.
And then Donald Trump, he writes on Truth Social, I guess.
And
It's supposed to be a
then
from.
what
He said
people
people
have to
saying that
understand is
Thomas Mason became a liberal
after
because his
that,
midwife
people would always say you want to bronze over the feet on Fox and stuff like that. And he would always correct your
Can you
record.
look at what a bronze star with a
Yes, I'll tell you what. I really am that one
But nevertheless, he's an absolutely terrible and unreliable,
So
What's the highest?
no, Congressional Medal of Honor.
or maybe
But then
even
there's the
worse.
Silver Cross. Forgive me, guys. But I think that you and I should do this about this. So Tim's a friend of mine. No, hold on, but let's stay on track with what exactly he's in trouble for. Okay, so let's start with the fee device. Awarded service members act. This is literally
United States.
Yeah, the same exact thing. I'm telling you, I'm not doing a bit. We are becoming this. And I'm actively trying to do something.
I'll say what, we are becoming this, I've never used it like that.
Well, you say that now,
And
David.
he wrote that on February 2nd at
What the
3:42.
terrorism, especially for actions involving direct participation in combat with an enemy of the United States. So this signifies that the individual performing acts of valor,
Congressional Medal of Honor. Random thought I had this week. I can't get over that Chin's name is Jimmy, but he gave himself a name.
The chat is also fucking becoming shocked. Look at what Mark Ramirez wrote.
That was part of the carve out.
My girl got a beat.
My girl got a beat of that. Transferred to him too. Those are, dude, he's. That's good. Everyone should. That's the city.
demonstrating
I'm never wearing flip flops, dude. I'm never wearing slides. I'm never bleaching my hair.
Some of these things are great ideas, though. You wearing flip flops is hilarious. Bleaching your hair is something I literally suggested to you as I came into your apartment this today.
That was the first. You didn't even say hi.
No, like, you don't bleach your hair. Yeah, like, are you gonna bleach your hair as you're walking up?
You're making a bit about it. You literally was the first
I didn't say
literally
that. We also suggested, I was at on the Patreon,
Oh, yeah.
we suggested that.
Careful what I'm saying to the public because they're going to say yes.
I know they want us to do it, but I mean, it's probably, I suggested that we watch They're Gonna Go Poppy for 24 hours straight. So, like, I think we calculated that that's 55 times. So we would just watch They're Gonna Go Poppy all day long, from Saturday at noon to Sunday at noon. And, you know, like what the chat would be live and all that, but it's like a Mr. Beast kind of thing. These are the things I think about.
When I'm sitting down at the table with
I
that
thought those
lady.
were kissing faces.
I would
But
enjoy
if
it.
he had his hands in her
I wish that was my, if that was my job, I'd be the happiest man on earth. You clock in, you watch Gringo Poppy all day long. Clock out, go home, watch Gringo Poppy. I gotta learn the whole thing too. I haven't given up on that.
Tell them the truth, dude. Donald Trump did something was like, we need you to watch the Gringo Poppy for 24 hours.
Oh yeah. He wants us to talk about this so you don't find out about everything.
Yeah.
And I'm okay as long as you join the Patreon.
Dude, we're going to, so, should we, I don't want to ask, because obviously they want us to do it.
You can do a poll, it doesn't matter.
It's going to be, not if we should do it or not, though. It's going to be, will we survive 24 hours?
Because when I would get the first 10 minutes of the Gringo Poppy also on the Patreon, it was difficult to do, and I questioned, doing it. But actually, honestly, one of the hardest things anyone's ever had to do. And I got a bronze star with a V for that. But when I did it, first season.
Oh, my bad. I didn't hear
I don't know. I think they.
Oh, I didn't hear the first part.
Yeah. I mean, literally got that medal. So. But, like, when I did it, and I'm happy that people enjoyed it, the first video was public, and it got comments, Daddy. It wasn't enough. I needed more luck.
Brother Williams, no way you make the past 2 hours. Now I feel like I want to do it, because it's like a challenge.
I can do that in the sleep. It would be the easiest thing I've ever done. 24 hours of sleep is easy. You know, I'm talking about 24 hours watching your Obviously, people would have to bring me food and drinks and stuff like that. Maybe DoorDash stuff to us. If the chat could DoorDash, people in the chat we trust could DoorDash to a location we give you.
Two friends,
I would accept that.
So they
Okay,
picked
so
up another
15%
one
say
when they were
rules
over
don't do
there.
it.
There's another one, Jermaine.
We need to get Cooney his Rolex so he can Domify fully. Yes. Yes. Dave is thinking like everyone
You guys
should
know
be.
who that is?
Alright, let's see how much more we can
These
do.
are these blacked out head wrench.
Urge of bravery under fire. The V device is attached to the Bronze Star medal. It's a ribbon execution from a Bronze Star warrior.
So let me give you can I give it to you? Because I actually looked into this.
Night logs, and these are victims.
A Bronze Star is kind of like, so a lot of people get Bronze Stars. Even lawyers get Bronze Stars in the military, from what I understand. It's almost like I've heard Special Forces guys say it's almost like a participation medal.
Look at this one.
You know, you get it for good conduct. There's a lot of things. So a V is when you have demonstrated valor in combat. It is a combat medal. Okay, so one of the things you'll see is like how many combat medals you have. Okay, so a V device. Sometimes you can be awarded a Silver Star. Look this up, I think.
These people who are redacted,
and it'll be demoted
the females
as
are
a
redacted.
Bronze Star with a V device. When you get an award for valor, you have to have two corroborating witnesses, expert witnesses who are there and saw it.
Gotcha.
Okay? So the thing about these special forces,
Actually said he
about 8 years ago on a podcast, he said that. And then we should say that he was introduced as somebody with a V device, I guess, and he did correct the record several times.
It feels like Brian's describing to you, Cooney, and he's like, he did say he has violence in his DNA. I'm not sure if you want to fight.
I mean, yeah, that's what you should probably be telling people.
For about 3 years, we've been doing a show for 10 minutes a week, watching us do these contests.
He's like, what is TBC? They search, they Google search. It stands for what? 10 minutes of shop?
Here's a new name.
So it was a time he said he's got to take responsibility for it, which he has. Because at the end of the day, if you said it, you said it. My thing with this is,
Let's go back to Tim's before you
yeah,
do your
I want to take full unequivocal responsibility for a serious mistake. Over the years, I made public statements and gave interviews in which I untouched misstated aspects of my military service. Most notably, I find directly that I had been awarded the Bronze Star without. That is not true, and there's no excuse for it. I never received an honor, and I deeply regret never suggesting otherwise. I honor recognition C. It represents extraordinary courage under fire, acts of risk across lives. To those who truly are in their families, brothers and arms, I offer my sincere and direct apology. What I said disrespect the service, I take full ownership of that. I was what I said to the public eye, while I was prepared for the truth and pressure that came with it. And that's all. I should know better. Integrity is not situational, and I don't know all the hands I can correct that. To the military and such community, especially those who serve in combat and lost people they love. I am deeply sorry. I know that many of you now, you have every right to expect more from me, and I did live up to that. This apology is not the end. It's the beginning. I committed to be building trust, reflection, visible accountability, and ongoing service to the community. I'm misrepresenting myself. I will no longer speak about my service the way that always made me all I actually did. From now on, my work becomes truth and strength. I stand the word alone, don't feel sworn or resort to us. Only time and action will. Thank you for those who held me accountable. I will do my best to honor that accountability from this point.
Now, let me say this before you go, B. So what's going to happen is the government and the military are going to look into Tim's actual accomplishments. This is what's going to happen, especially this weekend. They're going to look into it. They'll reveal some of it. Hopefully, they talk about. I don't know how things are going to go.
What happened when he
The ultimate sign of respect and achievement in life is that one of your friends reads out your apology on a podcast. That's what I'm hoping for someday. I'll have some kind of apology that Miguel or both of them will have to read on a podcast.
I do have a purple star DoorDash. I'm gonna go to the restroom.
All right, yeah, I'll talk to the chat. What's up, guys? How are you doing? What are we doing here? I'm gonna ask you a random question I've never asked anyone before. How many chicks do you guys fuck? Put your number in the chat. How many chicks that you fuck? Put your number in the chat now. How many chicks do you fuck? LPJ27. That's the fucking thing you wrote. Put how many chicks you fuck in the chat. Rabbi, can you guys read my golf resignation letter? Damn, that's funny.
This guy is on a flight.
Dude, Gerardo should have written like a resignation letter after he got fired. That was hilarious. If you don't know, Gerardo was fired from the golf course. And yet, we still got to play there because we had the friend that let us. 66 is a clever answer. for how many chicks you fuck, because that's also the number that Papa picked, and it's the number that Yasso Puig. Oh shit! Oh yeah, MNXD.
It's the background. I have
Kelly's peak with Cooney that he eat like 7 chicks.
7 chicks. That's good. That's a good number. Don't get off track now, Cooney. What were we talking about? I already forgot. That's great. Well, she said 0 chicks. Cooney, do you guys like the more relaxed schedule? Yeah, dude. The schedule is better because there's more clips to watch. Also, we were recording every day, every night. And now we record 3 days in a row, which is a lot, but it's also not very much. And it's also the biggest question is always, how do we fit in there? Gerardo's comment, how do we fit in that thing? The songs, I try to get the songs back. My idea is maybe songs that,
It's not me, it's the team.
yeah, we argue with the team a lot.
Yeah,
And it's like, you go back and forth with the team, and the team makes some good points, and then they're mad at you because you blame them for everything.
We've always planned on doing the songs again. It's just, we took a break from the songs.
I kind of want to do songs that aren't shot, or like they're about specific things. Same thing, but about different stuff.
What's it called? It's dangerous peeing on a live stream because then people are like, "Did you wash your hands?" This and that. So I need you to do me a favor. Can you smell my hand? No. But I want them to know I washed them, dude. I'm a songbird. Sorghum bird. Is that Trey Young? Is he young? Your team is fire. Good to hear, man.
Barbara, please stop hurting Jake.
I pissed in the sink and then I washed my hands in the toilet. Yeah, I should put this 2 weeks in now.
You would have been funny if you had written a resignation letter to the golf course.
24-hour run make this happen. Damn. That's gonna be rough.
Yeah, I'm Geraldo's attorney. We're gonna need a lot of money.
We're gonna keep you busy. The Sorghum Bird stuff was hilarious, hysterical. Songs about Adam Ray.
Oh, that's a good idea.
Cool. But I feel like it would have been clutch if we came in this week. What's it called? If we didn't stand.
Oh yeah. It's always tough. It's like, because that stuff is happening so fast in the Boppaverse. We did, and it's like, oh, can we do that song since it's relevant? Like when remember that fucking band did they said Blockbuster? What was that band?
Portugal the Man?
Portugal the Man. And again, like I gotta get over this kind of shit, but I was angry that they didn't even say anything when we did it. It's like we did a big fucking thing. Get you guys to say something, you don't say anything?
It's for cowbells. Jasmine, you don't even know what cowbell is. You don't know what you're asking for.
You don't know what you're in for. Nobody knows who you are.
You're gonna ask for cowbell and you're not gonna like what you get. It's gonna be different than fucking what's his name? Christopher Walken.
I do cowbell. I do cowbell for headaches.
I'll try to.
And what's going to happen is you're going to find out that he's not Superman, that he's Batman. And he's still a badass. So you're looking to take down Superman.
Neither of them would lie, though.
Yeah, that's a funny analogy. As if Superman or Batman have lied about that.
If Batman was playing with his dog,
That is a baby.
he would have just really do a podcast and lie.
Batman probably would say that.
You're right.
Yeah, it's a baby.
It's funny. No, that's hilarious. But can you imagine, like, you're hanging out with Batman, and you're like, man, Batman's so cool. And he's like, hey, by the way, I was in Vietnam. And you're like, you're in Vietnam? How old are you?
Rothschild was shit.
I fucking shot. Superman's like, yeah, I was in the war, and I was just killing everyone. I didn't know who I was killing. Like, that doesn't sound like Superman.
This is Little St. James.
Cowbell was the star of the show.
This is
Yeah, dude. I'm gonna play this. Cal took out Elizabeth Marsden. Where is she?
Because she's pissing herself laughing somewhere. It's hard for me to like. I know I like doing cowbell, but it's hard for me to believe that cowbell is really like it. It's so ridiculous. So I'm like, I just don't know if you guys actually want cowbell.
That's a naked. That's a naked picture of a kid.
I want to know if cowbell would be good on stage. I still want to kind of try cowbell.
There's only one way to find out.
There's a lot of stuff in our that we got that we talked about. Or at least I talked about it. Have I done it yet? Not yet. Someone has got to keep the ideas. Where's Janae? Janae's got to write down these ideas. I got to get her a Insta list that she
As women were so
I'm gonna chat open and watch the videos.
You're gonna find out you're actually finding Batman, which is still pretty fucking good. That's what's gonna happen.
There's a
I think that what would be good for us and prudent for you and I as civilians is to not comment on any get involved in this military stuff.
I'll die on a hill for Tim Kennedy.
Yeah, me too. I love it.
Now, when it comes to the nooks and crannies of military, I have to just find out what a fucking disease is. I don't know that lingo. I've sure as fuck never experienced any of it. I don't have a background.
That's how I feel. It's like I
talked about it.
We watch a man with graves and eventually show us the Papa, of course, we will count
That's a good point, I guess.
He's trying to take down Superman, and what's gonna unfold is you're like, holy shit, he's not Superman, he's fucking Batman, which is still pretty fucking impressive.
I would say this about Tim is I know Tim as a civilian, and I've known Tim a long time as you have, and I've spent a lot of time with Tim.
I know Tim as a civilian, not a war fighter. I know Tim as a professional athlete, yes, for very long. Yes. I've seen the whole aspect.
And I think you would agree. This is me going hard in the paper, Tim, because he's my friend, and I'm just, this is who I am. I've never seen that guy do any, I'm telling you, when cameras aren't on him and nobody's looking, I have personally seen with my own eyes and with my own ears, heard him go so far out of his way for people, and you'll never hear about it, especially people who are at risk of doing
Like Ryan Callen telling people how great you are. It's I'd rather have some random guy in the street talk about me.
Self-harm or worse. Tim has. I mean, he doesn't want me to do this.
He's Batman.
He doesn't want me to do this.
He's Batman. He's awkward. He's awkward. This is like exactly the Louis C.K. bit. It's never the friends you want to stick up for you. It's always whatever version of Brian Callen is in your life. It's like he's actually great.
Yeah. That's how I know Scrabble Bees is a fake fan right there, dude. Why doesn't anyone go soft in the paint? Cooney broke both his wrists playing basketball. He goes soft in the
I got scars, Davey. They can't see the scars. Maybe you can. But I got surgical scars.
You can't go softer than that in the paint.
Can you though? Broke both my wrists, dude. I'm not even a numbers guy, but all of them at once.
We'll comment after commenting for 50 years.
I've never written or
You wouldn't write back to me. He doesn't want me to do this. He doesn't want me to do this. But I have to just at least.
I mean, if it's back off,
Okay, just so everyone knows, I can fly and see through shit. But I also can protons back there.
This government operation that was allowed and approved.
Please speak on this. I'm not going to say the other stuff. I'm just going to speak on this. Whatever he said, he's going to be held accountable to. There are a lot of these guys, these Delta guys, this guy Tucker, Brent Tucker, he was an A Squadron guy. I'm not fucking getting involved in that. These motherfuckers risk their lives. They went through that for their own ego. I am stepping out of that. I'm not gonna defend Tim on that. I'm not gonna do any of that. All I'm gonna try to say is this, from what the things that I have seen with his generosity and what he's done for people who were really at risk of taking their own lives. I've not only lent my very lame hand at that, whether it was seeing thing on suicide. Well, I'll do whatever I can. I'm not in a position to talk about this. It's a sacred subject, but I have seen that man go out of his way, including get in his truck and drive places for a very long time to take care of somebody, and nobody knows about it. Nobody
What he just did with the floods.
Listen. At the end of the day, we're all complicated as human beings.
So this is the innocent.
Last time I saw Colin this year was on the trip.
Callan would give this speech. So you know what's sad about Callan is if he was on the fucking OnlyFans show. Remember that OnlyFans show he was on? Jerkmate? Yeah, like that joke. He would literally say the same shit on Jerkmate. He would fucking, if they asked about Tim Kennedy now on Jerkmate, he'd be like, let me tell you about this. It's like, bro, you're on Jerkmate. Anyway, so I was coming the other day. He's sitting next to some woman with like gigantic tits and some guy that's Aphrodacted.
Tell me about the time with Brian Crawford. That should be our band name.
Yeah, at times. And I've known Tim as a civilian, and what I've seen, I love the man.
If you think you're taking down a bad
I love the guy.
and I hope if they're going to do this investigation, I hope they reveal what they find. Again, you're going to find out.
We don't know. I would be careful about it.
They're going for Superman, and you're going to find he's Batman.
I just think
Tim's
Batman's better than Superman.
Yeah, I like Batman.
Batman's one of us.
It's true, he's a human being.
Yeah, he's a fucking homeless Kenyan.
Batman's posting like anti-shot memes.
It's a 3 a.m. friend. I have about 3 of them in my life.
Yeah.
Tim's a 3 a.m. friend.
That's true.
I could call with anything. I don't let my kids date anybody. Oh, we're just going to take them. No, because if something happens to those kids, you're fucked.
Yes.
I've never seen Brown Cornelius posted here before, but you guys are going to be doing an episode of how Tim Kennedy got in the way during the Afghan withdrawal in the future. So,
Whoa, really? Jeez.
I don't know if that's what's that? Sarcasm?
Yeah.
I don't know why I said it like that, but
I'm so done. I believed it right away. I was like, that's okay. I hope that's not true. That's a funny comment, Brad.
That was full of just video.
I will kill you. If something happens to those kids, I don't give a fuck. Mistake or not, your life and mine are going to change forever.
Yeah.
well, shout out to the subscriber.
Yeah.
Tim would say, I want to take Tiger when you get ice cream. Go this. Not even like that.
I've seen.
And I
He's one of 2 people ever.
not only has that happened, I have done that with my kids with Tim. And I've done it several times. And so, for me, again, my experience with Tim as a civilian is nothing but he's one.
Gerardo has Superman here. Look at my hair. Or is that Drizzling? Or is that the song, right? Or is that Star Wars? That's Star Wars.
Yeah, I think that's Star Wars.
What's the song?
I don't remember.
That's another Star Wars.
That's not Star Wars. That's the movie song, dude. I don't know if it's in the thing, but you see a lion's face. He made Mortal Kombat. They're like, that's a Superman, dude. Superman?
Somebody had you look like Canada, I love to see
Oh, shit.
Superman that's gonna explode now. They doesn't want smoke.
Yeah, everybody knows the guy that did the Superman is bad money. Everybody knows that.
This guy,
Stupid.
this bodyguard, he's Manhattan State. And he said that there's an off-site
Superman part 2. We go back.
there's a room full of monitors.
That's my favorite guy.
Computers
On the cloud.
all those
He's got to be held accountable. He will be for this. I'm not going to step into that. You know, we all make mistakes, and we all. And this is where.
I don't know how I got into Argentine president or whatever, but he's like going through all the different shop shows. Like he has one on board, Truck Diaries. Afuera.
Superman's just like, La ligadera no funciona. La ligadera no funciona.
Brennan shop tiny desk.
So it was the Queen of England's cabin that they were
You do a tiny desk, like Gerardo does a tiny desk, and like, you're like, why is everything regular?
deal that is getting invited to Balmoral by the Queen. That is like a very, very select few, even of the Queen's closest friends.
When he's not out fighting crime, he's back in the lab having full penetration. He's in the Fortress of Solitude.
I don't know if he's got
Una
that.
fortaleza de Solituda. Superman famous flying over the botella de agua.
I know, I don't pay enough attention to geopolitics.
His mistakes correct. This is his thing to deal with. I'll let the veteran community and the special point of guy help.
You're not going to get away with anything most boys. Like, they're going to do it. They're going to do it. And then you move on. I'm telling you, this isn't the guy to aim for, create videos, and throw hate at. Listen to her, it's wrong with so much shit all the time. They go after good people. I'm telling you on this one, folks, there couldn't be a worse guy to try to tear down.
Class, there's all kinds.
Yes, I think there is.
So-called elite
These
establishment.
folks,
Yeah, there's
so much shit all the time. They go after good people.
Dude, we've seen this coming, dude. Pause. No pun.
Other times you gotta remember,
But
these are
that's
the
Christian
it's
Bappa.
crazy how many photos.
Oh, yeah.
That is Christian Bappa.
That is a good, yeah. He could pull that off. I see it.
I'm not gay no more.
I mean,
Was this a personal
you have a good eye for talent. You got like
You're doing a blackmail
like
operation.
in
You got your own photographer.
you kind of see things. Correct me if I'm wrong. 5D.
There's obviously like nobody there with
You're always like kind of like looking for the next bag. Whereas I kind of just like focus on one bag and then I lose it. You know, you got my position, so
For the next bag,
right? Exactly, and like you're always you got the scoop out. I leave the scoop at home.
Yeah, I'm seeing on stage.
Facts.
What else do they say? No boner relief.
Okay, I will answer it truthfully. It does look like he's practicing. He's mine. Or mine. Yeah, he's mine. Papa is a mine.
Looks like my
That'd
dad.
be good. He puts on the wrong makeup. He puts on blackface.
Like a big science.
He's like, I'm a mime, but he's meant to mime, and he has a blackface.
This is part of that like science.
Horrible tragedy today is Brennan Shaw thought he was going to be a mime, but put on blackface.
University.
That's what gets him. He's Teflon Bran until he does the blackface.
Yeah.
He does this, but somehow the rope is real. He actually
Could you
puts
send
it
me
on the trap.
instructions or in DM how to do a screen share on
I
Space?
thought you used a real rope when you
Don't do it. He's special. I'm such a brat. Come on, Paul Diligent. Don't be a gatekeeper. It's
That's
extra.
true. He'd always like fuck it up, and then like his clown coach is
Used to work on space.
This is him sarcastically acting like he's gonna beat him up. He's like, oh, like
asked me if I
saying
wanted to
about
pay the test screen sharing for spaces, and I said yes, and then he quit 2 weeks afterwards. So I'm sorry.
That's so sad. I thank you anyway. I didn't just come up for that. Thanks. I know you came up because I was like, I don't know these geopolitical. I thought it was so cute because you do know a lot of these geopolitics.
So these functions were like the front door entity to get everybody in one room to talk to each other. But in these rooms is where they talk about going to the Epstein Island. Right? These are the rooms they don't have to worry about getting caught on a phone call or a wire, where they literally can talk about the other nefarious shit. But this is the way that they get them all in one room together. Under
He was a socialite, so he was good all kinds of events.
Those events would be like Davis and Edge Group.
Oh my God, this is when he was in Africa working for the CIA. That's what this is. Yeah. That's one of the girls. Redacted.
Did you see the post that I made about Cyril and all of the South
If you
African
posted
players?
it today, probably not. I can't look at it.
No, like 2 days ago.
What a weird mix to have this. We're to them. Why would you have this photo amongst all of that? This is that thing he did in Africa. Remember when they came out last year that he did an operation in Africa with with even Barack? This is a photo from that. I forget the name of it.
What country would he do this with, Dylan? We're in Africa. So it's just a country, and you have to look it up. I've seen it in South Africa, or I've seen it in Africa. So what a random thing to have in there. There's the temple. So weird.
So one of the victims in the post that I had, I believe it might have been Sarah Ransom, was going off and calling out like a lot of people, and she was mentioning the South African. She does not follow me, but she was calling out Cyril from South Africa and the South African modeling agencies being tied with Jean-Luc Brunel in these pleadings that she was doing to Kash Patel and Elena Baba, and it was all from February of last year.
I was just looking at the Africa trips, and there was a publicized one in 2002, humanitarian trip on Epstein's plane with Bill Clinton, and then they're also discussing that he was over there, basically brokering.
Look, this is how long he's been doing the surveillance thing. In 2005, when his house was raided, there's a property receipt for seven Maxwell VHS tapes of surveillance during intercourse. So that's VHS. That's how long he's been doing that. Look, there's more than that. There's 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 VHS tapes that the police took in the raid in 2005 of his Palm Beach estate. That's just VHS. You know what I mean? Like, the government has so much video of him and probably these other people raping kids. Sorry, go ahead.
That didn't even include New York as well. That's just Palm Beach.
Also, just with that Africa trip, so it said that he went to the Ivory Coast, Angola, and Senegal around 2012, 2013, and it was to help broker Israeli surveillance security deals in Africa at the behest of AU Iraq.
Yep, that was the one I covered last year. I think we broke that.
Hey, Nazi, when you said this, did you say Cyril? Like Cearle? Like the pharmaceutical company?
Cyril, it's Cyril Ramaphosa. Yeah.
Oh, all right.
The Panasonic digital recorder. Like, this is all. So everything that's redacted here on the evidence is of names of victims or co-conspirators. This is from 2005, right? So that's how long he had been getting blackmail on people. And like, that's how far back. These are VHS, and obviously digital there. But I mean, the government has to have just a mountain of surveillance. These are surveillance. This is not kiddie porn downloaded off the internet. This is 2005. Right? Like when Pam Bondi said, or whoever Blanche said, oh, it's mostly downloaded porn. That's bullshit. Bullshit. There are VHS tapes, DVDs, CDs, photos. There's all kinds of hard copy evidence of him and others having sex with minors, having sex with kids, and other women who were trafficked. Decades of it. Decades.
It's crazy to see these like old school surveillance logs too, especially when you consider this is 2 years before he even got to
Sony micro cassette.
Yeah.
Look, right there, right fucking there, right there. Okay? Tell me, Sony micro cassette statement by blank with juvenile. Right there, a kid.
So really,
were people trying to say that no kids, like these weren't kids or something? But what were they saying? Like, what's going to come?
I was like fighting a whole space one night. They were like arguing with me that Jeffrey Epstein wasn't a pedophile. He literally pled guilty to solicitation of prostitution from a minor. Literally, that's what he pled to. And they're arguing with me about whether or not he wasn't technically a pedophile. He wasn't actually a convicted pedophile. Yes, he was.
Well, and they were arguing too that 15 is like grown. Like 15 should qualify as an adult and not be. It's not like their age. They were like 14 and 15, so that's okay.
Yeah, the guys like Fuentes coming out.
Look at all of these different. In 2005, they had a stack of evidence against him with all kinds of victims. That's even back then.
So what was the plea deal?
Let me do some housekeeping real quick, you guys. Go down to the comments section. Please tag me or tag Nocti if you have any comments you want me to see. I can't see them. You'll have to read them out to me. And if you want to support what I'm doing, the best way is by turning all notifications on to my profile. Go to my account, my profile, hit the bell on all notifications. That way you'll never miss when I post about this stuff or when I post a space. Also, I pay quite a bit of money every month to be able to do this work. So if you want to support me, the best way is by subscribing. There's a pink button on my profile, and I do subscriber-only after spaces to give for my subscribers. And we have a subscriber group chat that we throw people in that they all love. So if you subscribe if you want to support, because I pay like $300 a month for. I do this for a living, but it costs money too. The Grok is $300 a month. I subscribe to all kinds of like investigative shit, and then all of this shit that I don't know. Heads up. If you want to support that, subscribe. Alright, so this is like, just receipt after receipt of. Here's a DVR. DVR discs from PBSO. I wonder if that's from France.
Coming up on Florence, earlier car fires been extinguished. They may still have a lane off limits while they clean up, and that drive is a huge mess away from the 101. Pasadena, 210 eastbound loads up the mountain, delays ahead to Citrus. With Southern California's most accurate traffic reports, I'm Angel Martinez.
Valentine's Day and romance is ambitious. Either way, I'm in love. And now, the
have a message you want every voter in your district to hear. That's where radio comes in. Radio is your direct connection to white commuters, midday grinders, and late nighters. Radio is your message right where you are.
Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai
That's a good story. I like that. There's a house in Burbank that has one owner since it was built in like the 1930s, and they're selling it for the first time. And there's a connection to Gene Autry. I think Gene Autry lived there for a while. They would often stop by. It's $1 million. So if you got $1 million, I'll tell you where it is. You can go buy that home. $1 million, you got that kind of deal.
What's up, sluts? How you living, babies? I hope you're well. Alright. It is 15th of Shabbat, 5786, Monday, February 2nd. It's like 4 p.m. No one really knows for sure. Elu Divrei Elohim Chayim, but this is the Mazor we live by. Dog, I'm gonna tell a story. You may sound like you sound differently. Like, yeah, Kabbalah sucks. Everything sucks. If you didn't know it, you know that's how we do. We're drawn up all night. People may wonder why. Like, I don't know. I think I don't know. I'm not going into it. Anyway, it's bad. I still don't feel right. Are you sick? No, I don't know. Anyway, I don't feel sick. I just feel like I'm gonna puke. I threw up. I had to get up and throw up like 4 times. But I'm kind of proud of how I threw up, so it takes me back to my old college days. So there's the thing, if you drink beer, like, you can drink a lot of beer and not get too fucked up. But, well, you get fucked up. You get really fucked up. But it's like, you won't get fucked up that quickly because of the gas in there, and it just, like, builds up in your stomach. You have to whiz a lot. Okay. But vodka or hard liquor, oh, that will fuck you up. That will fuck you up very quickly. Very, very quickly. And if you're out there, like, what fucks you up the hardest
there's this thing called jungle juice. I think my parents had a name for it in their day, which is called something buffalo, woolly buffalo or something. Oh man. I mean, so what do? How do you make it, Rabbi? Well, you get a cooler or an ice chest, as some people call it. I mean, they call it that, losers. Um, you wash it out and then sanitize it, and then I don't know like the exact proportions, but you put in something called I mean, if you really want to fuck people up, Everclear, which is like 98% alcohol or something. I don't know. It's a lot. And oh, it's Hairy Buffalo. Hunch Punch. Large batch of fruit punch made with liquor like vodka, rum, or tequila, cut fruit, and fruit juices. It's often served in coolers or punch bowls and is known by regional names such as Jungle Juice, Purple, Nazarene, or PJ. It's commonly associated with college parties and large gatherings. So, did you ever make this? Maybe, but like, there's just something when you're pouring in that alcohol. Anyway, I would always be careful with that. Jello shots, you gotta be careful with those because they taste good and they'll just fuck you up. But the thing I used to get so fucked up on, allegedly, and it wasn't for a long time. I go through phases. Perhaps I've never drank, and perhaps I've never drank to get drunk or whatever. But so I had this thing that I would do back in the day. It could have been a Thursday, who knows? There are these things called power hours that were really big. I don't remember the first time I heard of power. Oh yeah, maybe I do. I do. I remember I was in high school and I was hanging out with college kids, which was like super not normal. But that's what I was doing. And I heard somebody say, "You want to do a power hour?" I was like, "What is that?" It's like where you drink a shot of beer every minute for an hour. So, and like my friend used to have this down river. It's like 6.5 beers or something like that. It depends on the beer. It depends on how your shots are. But like a shot is 1.5 ounces. And but like bar shots sometimes are smaller. Like at the standard shot glass, 1.5 ounces. Okay. These are like things that you have to know. Really, like mixology was really big, even though it wasn't called that. It was like everybody could have gotten a degree in mixology. Really? Oh, we know how many beers were in a keg. We knew. I mean, it was like fucking holographic measurements in our fucking heads. You ever see that like meme of all those numbers that are coming past a person? It was like that. When it came to like alcohol percentages, you could ask like an 18-year-old kid like what the alcohol percentage is in like Mark and David, like Mad Dog 40/40, and they'd be like, "What type?" Be like, "Huh?" Yeah, they'd be like, "Oh, are you talking about the red one, the blue one, the yellow one?" Like they're like, you'd be like, "Oh, they're different." Oh, fuck yeah, they're different. Really, yeah. And what is it? I want to say it's under 14%. Like that was a big thing, something like that. Anyway, 14% was like the big cutoff. You could have under 14%, you go wild. Over 14%, you'd be in trouble. So that was always like a big thing, 14%. And anyway, I've got a lot to say of this story. I don't want to tell you. This is Cabal and Coffee, but I'm fucked up, so whatever. And I'm sure people enjoy this more than some fucking asshole who lived 600 years ago who talked about a fucking Ein Sof or something. Anyway, so my like the first time I did a power hour was really fun, and I wanted to like it was done with music. So what is it? Every minute a new song comes on, which is tight. But sometimes there's like the part in the song that you really want to hear, and then it just switches songs. So it's like okay, whatever. So power hours are like big, and then um, like I don't know, a year went by or two or something like that, and I had done them, but I never like made my own power hour. And my friend was like, "Hey, we should do a power hour tonight." And it's like, "Dog, it's a Tuesday night." Like, yeah, we were fucking. Everybody drank. Like, you get some Chinese kid who would be like, I mean, I'm like, he'd be like, do you drink? No. Do you ever drink? No. And that kid would be so fucked up by the end of the year. Be drinking 6 nights a week, maybe more. Maybe doing like day drinking. Like everybody got fucked up, but everybody starts like, no, I don't drink. Really? Oh, and everybody would just get just trashed, just absolute shit shows. I mean, terrible. Like, okay, so there's this time in my life allegedly where, like, I just had a list of chicks who I could just invite over, and I remember I had this box of girls' numbers that I could get allegedly, or that I got, and I would just have just I get girls' numbers, and then I just put them in this big fucking box, and um and then if I ever just needed to hang out with anybody, I just stick my hand in this fucking box, like one of those big like hopper things, like just boom, some chick, who the fuck is Rachel? Okay, hey, what's going on, girl? Hey, you want to come over? And you get them confused and all of these things. Anyway, not really though. I mean, but I made mental notes. But sometimes I get them confused because sometimes they were twins, and it'd be like, oh, which one's which? Really? Yeah, that actually made it really difficult. Twins changed the game, kids. But all right. So my friend was like, dude, we should do a power hour. And I'm like, dude, it's a Tuesday. And he's like, and I'm like, it's like, we got like class and stuff. And they're like, nah, fuck it, we'll do it. But we didn't have like Spotify. Like we had giant libraries of music and on hard drives and computers and stuff. And one time I tried to unite all my friends to make one giant collection, and I did with some of them. And we had like all this music, huge amounts of music. But then there was like a way that you could, using like a local network, like connect with other people. It's called Frostwire, like the thing. But we had to be really technical to be able to get a lot of this music. Anyway, but like a power hour is cool, but you're just sitting there looking at each other, and it's like, okay, fine. So I made this thing. I don't know if I invented it. I'm sure I didn't, but I like music videos. Like that was a cool fucking thing. So I remember I and you couldn't. That was the thing. You could not download. Like if you downloaded at the university, you get in a lot of trouble. So I went somewhere else and downloaded like 60 music videos and then cut them up. And within, I remember I did this on like a Friday or something like that. And within like a few hours, I had like 60 minutes of. Oh no, that's not what I did. That's not what I did. No, I did not cut them up. No, misremembering. That's a Roger Clemens. Anyway, no, actually, I was gonna cut them up. I didn't download 60 music. I was gonna cut them up, but it would be like in the middle of a song, and it's like, oh, I love that part. Like, it sucks that it didn't keep going. So this is something that I did do that I think was pretty game changing. I let the whole song go, but then I would just put like a timestamp of some kind of message that just said your drink. And I made this thing. Let's just say after Shabbat that weekend or whatever, my friend and I, and perhaps it was like this game changing thing that we had this fucking power hour that was on video. And I remember I had this thing that I plugged in my computer that would put it on the TV, which is like game changing as well. Like nobody had that. And it was we could so anyway, and I had this sign out like this fucking little coffee table that we had made. I had all these signs from like roads and shit. Anyway, very college. This is as much college as it could be. Fucking had a wooden Indian. I wanted a slot machine. We had a fucking traffic light. I had a like this fucking Corona parrot, this like macaw that my friend always wanted. She loved it. Really, Anyway, so we would just invite random people over and do power hours, and like it was really hard to get our hands on beer because we, for whatever reason, but we'd always find a way. And anyway, oh yeah, so then then there's this thing called a Century Club, which isn't 60 shots, it's 100 shots, and we started doing that, and that would be fun. We'd have people over, and have super hot chick, and super athletic, super smart, all these amazing women, and allegedly, and they come over, and we would do. They'd be like ready for 60 minutes, and then all of a sudden this bitch turns into 100 minutes, and they always go along with it. Really, yeah, and it was always fun. It was always a lot of fun. Anyway, so the next year comes, and my friend and I like past just straight up drinking like beers. So we start getting into we start thinking that we're cool and we're gonna get into wine. Really, yeah. And there's this thing allegedly you can get these kosher bags of wine, boxes of wine. And if you're ever at a party, there's this thing where like there's a box of wine for like really like whatever, just kosher box wine. Yeah. And you take this bitch out in a party and you start passing the bladder, and everybody starts slapping it, and you fucking just pass this fucking bladder around. Anyway, so we got kind of hooked on these things, and I'll tell you this: I don't like the taste of alcohol. It's not my thing. I don't like it. It tastes nasty to me. But the thing is one time my friend and I were like, dude, let's try to do a power hour with wine, which is way more intense than beer. And we did a Century Club, and the next day my friend allegedly, I believe, had practice, and he just fucking slept through this, or class or something. He had class. He just fucking slept through. He had a long run in the morning, and he fucking slept through that, and he fucking slept all day. And I remember I got my ass up, and I remember coming down the fucking ladder, feeling like I was gonna fucking puke, but I didn't. I fucking put my clothes on. I went to class, and I was sick all fucking day, but I didn't throw up. Anyway, along these lines, I remember. Oh yeah, my friend. I come back and he's still in fucking bed. He comes down from this fucking ladder and he just looks over the sink, and then I'm like, "You gonna pull the trigger?" He's like, "I have to," and he fucking. There's this thing in your mouth, in your throat, that like. I don't know. It's like that fucking tonsil thing, but it's not. That if you fuck around with it enough, it's a gag reflex, and you will fucking throw up. And we figured out how to fucking pull this thing and throw up if you need it. And it's a really good thing. Like, if you ever need to, like last night, I was like, I wasn't feeling well. Like, I'm gonna puke. But I wasn't sitting there like trying to throw up. I just fucking could stick my finger in, pull this fucking trigger, throw up, and then like be okay. And anyway, it's not a good thing. Bulimia is not a good thing. I remember hearing about this chick who threw up so much that she filled a garbage bag with it and then left over break, and people found it, and that was really sad. Like, bullying is not cool. Really, yeah, it's really sad. Neither is binge drinking either. But anyway, do you ever feel like you had an alcohol problem? No. Really? Not really. Like you drink every fucking day. Everybody did, kids. All right, really? Yeah, that's just a made up story. Nobody believes anything that I'm saying. All right, easy there, Harry Buffalo. Jungle juice. Anyway, with jungle juice or Harry Buffalo, whatever, the fruit in there absorbs the alcohol, and then you eat the fruit and you get really fucked up. Oh, there's another thing you can do is you take a fucking watermelon and you fill it with alcohol, and then you cut the watermelon, and that will get you really fucked up. The thing though, I didn't. So there are beer bongs. What else? There's fucking all kinds of games. We used to play all kinds of fucking games. Like anything, we can make a game out of anything. Like you just sit here and thumb war and fucking do shots if you need to. But there's this thing that I don't know, I went to some party, or it was actually a dance, I believe, or something. Anyway, and one of the gifts, I remember, yeah, there was something like this. How was it? Maybe my date. She got me these glasses that were a straw, or like a straw that you could suck through it, and it would fucking go all the way through the glasses. I thought those were so tight. Really, yeah. And then somebody else got a bottle bomb. So like beer bong can get they'd be like double funnel beer bongs and all kinds of shit. And you like take the grease from your fucking skin and put it around there, allegedly. Health, food safety. Anyway, and like it would remove the foam. Foam was like a big fucking enemy. Anyway, and like we were fucking really, we were mathematicians and physicists with like the angle of a pole. Like John Tapper would be like, he'd know what's up. Anyway, butt funnel. Anyway, we did this thing where, oh, hold on, I got the best thing. We did this thing where I did not like a certain kind of beer. That was an ice beer, which is okay. So normal beer, I think, is like something like 3.9% or something like that alcohol percentage. And this beer was it's like 4.2, anywhere between like 3.9 and 4.2. Or you're like major beers. But then this one beer was, because it was an ice beers, it was like 5.9%. It was like double, which meant it get you twice as fucked up. But the taste is just awful. I hate the taste of beer. I hate it. It's nasty to me. But my friend gave somebody got him a bottle bomb, which is like a thing you put on a beer bottle, and it's got like a hose, and it allows you to drink a bottle of beer really quickly. Here's the thing: the bottles of beer are way more expensive than cans. Dog, we had cans down so well. We were always looking for the grand. Somebody who would sell a case of 30-pack for $10. Nobody ever did. It was always like $12, but we were always fucking putting pennies together to get this shit. Anyway, it wasn't ever. It was usually $12.99 or $13.99, something like that. But you could go there and they'd get like 30 people sells it in 30 packs when you're trying to get fucked up. Anybody who's really trying to get fucked up knows about the 30 pack. What would we call them? 30 packs. They had a name. Cubes. They sound like big cubes. Really, yeah. And I'd never seen 30 packs. Like, I was always like 24. It was pretty standard, but these 30 packs. And dude, I had this funny fucking story. I was in high school. Dude, I have so many fucking stories like this, but I was in high school, and my friends were throwing a party, a really big party. It's called 10,000 Cans Under the Sea. Our goal was to try to get 10,000 beer cans for a party, which is a lot of beer cans. It's like 300 cases, 330 cases or something like that. 333 cases, whatever, maybe 334, something like that. And they're having trouble getting beer. And
I had a connection, let's just say, that I could get them this beer. And the big thing was the delivery of so many different fucking beer cans. I don't want to go into the story now, but I remember just coming through like a champ and going to this party and getting just having it. I remember it was the first time I had like ever bartended. All I was doing was handing out beers out of a fucking trash can. But it was just so cool. I just remember being like, I'm in high school. And it was very much like I've always described it like it's like in Almost Famous where like that kid's way younger than everybody else hanging out with everybody. Okay, anyway, I don't want to get into that story, but there's more to that story. It's great. I got tons of stories. I don't want to go into those. Anyway, this bottle bong. So my friend got this bottle bong. He wasn't really using it, and none of us had bottles, but like Dasani, like Coca-Cola is like the big distributor, and their water is Dasani, and I just had like a fucking Dasani bottle one day, and I figured, you know what, if I take one of these ice beers and put it in this fucking bottle, in the Dasani bottle, and then put a bottle bong on it, I wonder if it would like have the same effect as a beer bong. That was the thing, you couldn't have a beer bong, but bottle bong was like new technology that the laws or whatever hadn't caught up with yet, and so I had this bottle bong, and I can fucking the best buzz I think I've ever gotten from just boom about a natty ice allegedly bottle, boom, just like it will fuck you up. And just if you, I think I one or two of those will just straight up fuck you up. And then I was fine. And then I was fucking having a good time. I remember sitting over this sink, fucking bottle bongs, and then just singing songs into a fucking mirror. And my whole fucking place is filled with like recruits and hot chicks. And I would just be like, I'm the most beautiful motherfucker here. Anyway, was that the end of your stupid ass story? Yeah. So why did you tell us that? Well, because it's about pulling the trigger, and eventually, like at certain points in my life, I figured out how to use the back of my throat and fucking pull this trigger. I don't know what it's called, but we need to know from scientific purposes. Yo, dog, when you're about to throw up and you're pulling the trigger in the back of your throat, what are you tickling back there to make yourself throw up? It's actually, I feel like a what do you call it? Like some kind of instinctual like advantage. It's like you're stimulating your gag reflex by touching the back of your throat, specifically the base of your tongue and soft palate. Yeah. The reflex is automatic. It's a protective response, triggered when sensitive areas in the back of your throat are touched. Pushing your finger or toothbrush into that area causes the muscles in your throat to contract, which can cause nausea and vomiting. This is why pulling a trigger in the back of your throat, a metaphor often used in lyrics, refers to manually inducing a gag reflex to make yourself throw up. While this method can work, it's not safe for regular use. Repeated inducing vomiting can lead to dehydration, tooth erosion, acid reflux, and may contribute to eating disorders like bulimia. If you're frequently, but it works. It's a good trick. Anyway, that's my thought. Are you feeling better? I still don't feel that great. All right, let's get to Yiddish. Oh. All right. There's Amachai, that's what Rabbi says after we stood. Halavai, that's what she says. It's like two-ish or more. That's something that she wants to happen. Yiddish cup. Jewish hype. Yenta, it's kind of a fetish of mine. If you're talking to a bitch. Talkless, brass tacks. Nosh, like snacking on pussy. Basher. There's Bashirter, which is a man, and Bashirta, which is a woman. Mishmash. I was taking a bath. Everybody knows that one. It's a combination of shit. Butt kiss, it means nothing. It's nonsense. It can also mean dreams. Good yontif, that means good holiday. L'chaim is health. Parv, it's like spelled like Brett Favre, but actually it's not Favre. It's the opposite. Anyway, it's a weird. It's part of neutral. Flat kosher. Okay. is all the meat that you eat glad kosher, to the best of my knowledge, baby. What's the glad mean? Smooth. Alright, here we go. Lots of supermarkets and caterers advertise themselves as being glad kosher, which has come to mean super kosher in common parlance. What does the term really mean, and how does one receive such a designation? The word glatt actually means smooth in Yiddish and refers to the lack of adhesions of the lungs of an animal. To understand this, we need to define another word that has taken a whole new meaning, treif. In the vernacular, the word refers to anything unkosher. In truth, treif refers specifically to an animal that has died a violent death. As the verse states, do not eat meat from an animal torn, treifa, in the field. More broadly defined, this also includes animals that have physical defects that halakha determines will limit their lives. Even if such animals would be properly slaughtered and salted, their meat would not be kosher. One of more broadly animals that have physical defects. Oh yeah. One of the more common invalidating defects is a punctured lung. Every animal needs to be inspected by an expert bodek examiner to determine that its lungs don't contain any holes or defects. This is where the term glatt comes in, glatt kosher. Besides the obvious holes, there are often surchot, scar tissue-like adhesions that sometimes develop on the lungs. These are problematic since they indicate that that there either was a hole or did not heal properly, or there was a hole that did not heal properly, or that a hole is developing in the loose tissue. Most adhesions on the lungs render the animal treifa not kosher. Some, however, describe techniques by which one can squeeze, palpate, and test some adhesions to ascertain whether they are bona fide surcoat or merely rear spittle-like discharge, which would render the animals kosher. Rabbi Yosef Karo, the Beit Yosef, author of the Code of Jewish Law, strongly disapproves of this test and holds that all adhesions are considered treifa. On the other hand, Rabbi Moshe Isserles, in his glosses to the code, while while opining that there should be strict and not that one should be strict and not rely on these tests, notes that it was the practice among Ashkenazic Jewry to at times be lenient and rely on this test to be done by an extremely God-fearing and qualified tester. Sephardim, who generally don't follow the rulings of Rabbi Yosef Karo, don't rely on these tests at all. For Ashkenazim, who generally follow the rulings of Rabbi Moshe Isserles, there are two standards of meat: kosher, which relies on this test, and glatt kosher, meat from animals whose lungs were found to be smooth, glatt, without any adhesions. Glatt chalak bet Yosef. Well, on the topic of glatt kosher, it should be noted that if you go to a kosher butcher, you might find another category of meat called glatt or chalak, the Hebrew equivalent Beit Yosef. Glatt, in the classical sense, means that there were no adhesions whatsoever, but since it is very uncommon to find totally smooth lungs, the majority of the meat sold nowadays as glatt relies on the process of peeling and testing mentioned by Rabbi Isserles, but only for the very light and soft adhesions which come off easily. As mentioned, Sephardim don't rely on this test at all. This, however, is the case only for beef. Oh, I remember what I was going to say. I'm going to say it really quickly. All right, so you never want to get drunk. You never want to drink to get drunk. Like it's like there's a limit. However, okay, so remember that 14% amount. So I had this amazing idea that was a game changer. I had this big ass bottle of Restream, and we fill it with the fucking worst kind of vodka you could find. Because girls were always like, they'd be like, you want something to drink? And they'd be like, yeah, do you have any hard alcohol? Like, no, we can't have that. We have as much fucking beer as you want to drink. You could fucking make a brewery out of this bitch. But it was always like, do you have hard alcohol? Because they didn't want to get fat. And like, okay, so we had this thing of this Listerine bottle. And we fill it with vodka. And then this was the most brilliant thing I ever had. Like, I had some good fucking ideas, like sex bots and fucking streaming my life. and perhaps revivification of the dead and all that other shit. But this was a game changer, which was I'd put food dye in the um, Listerine bottle, so the vodka looked just like Listerine. And when you would smell the bottle, because Listerine already has an alcoholic smell, it smelled like Listerine. And we could fucking do shots, no issue. And just leave a fucking bottle of alcohol out, basically, nobody's gonna say anything. And unless you chemically tested this shit, no one was gonna know. And so that was a way. That was a very, very, very smart way around the system. Like, I'm telling you, if you give me a fucking rule, I will find every little way around it. I'll find loopholes. I'll find back doors. I will find a way through it. I'll sit there at night and just think, how the fuck can I get past this? But anyway, that was a really smart way to do it. Anyway, so glad in the classical terms means that there were no adhesions whatsoever, but since it is very uncommon to find totally smooth lungs, the majority of meat sold nowadays as glad relies on the process of peeling and testing mentioned by Rabbi Israelis, but only for light and soft adhesions which come off easily. As mentioned, Sephardim don't rely on this test at all. This, however, is the case only for beef. When it comes to other animals such as deer, calves, veal, and lamb, so calves or veal, and lamb, all agree that no type of surcha may be removed. All such animals sold today as kosher would essentially be glatt kosher. At the same time, when it comes to finding surcha, not all areas of the lung are equal. While all hold that there are certain areas of the lung where surcha will not render the animal non-kosher, there is a disagreement as to what exactly these areas are. In this aspect, the Sephardic view following the Beit Yosef is more lenient, with more areas where a surcha can exist without affecting the kosher status of the animal. Those same surcha would make the entire animal trade for Ashkenazim, following the rulings of Rabbi Ishmael. In other words, while Rabbi Karo is more strict on the type of surcha, he is more lenient when it comes to where it can be found. So let's go through that again. At the same time, when it comes to finding surcha, not all areas of the lung are equal. While all hold that there are certain areas of the lung where surcha will not render the animal non-kosher, there's a disagreement as to what exactly these are. In this aspect, the Sephardic view following the Beit Yosef is more lenient, with more areas where a surcha can exist without affecting the kosher status of the animal. Okay. So in practice, many Sephardim follow the stringencies of both Rabbi Moshe Ursulis and Rabbi Yosef Karo, so that they A, don't rely on any of the tests of surcha, and B, don't rely on the leniencies of Rabbi Yosef Karo about the surcha found in certain areas. Based on this, one can find three different types of kosher meat in the market: plain kosher meat, glatt kosher, and glatt or chalak Beit Yosef, which follows the rulings of the Sephardim. The colloquial term glatt kosher. If your local bakery advertises itself as glatt bakery, it seemingly making the absurd claim that the cupcakes and donuts have healthy lungs. However, in colloquial speech, the term glatt kosher has come to be used, albeit inaccurately, to refer to something that is unquestionably called kosher without having to rely on various leniencies. But at the same time, the opposite is also true. Nowadays, the term kosher non-glatt is used for meat. It many times relies on various other questionable leniencies that have nothing to do with the issue of surcha discussed above. This is just one of the reasons why it's crucial, especially when it comes to meat, for the kosher consumer to buy only products that have a reliable kashrut certification. All right. Now we're going to get into what about birds? Because this doesn't make any sense. We never have. I don't think it ever will. And another really interesting point is that, so like when you have like a farmer who is going to sell, like there aren't kosher farms. That's not a thing. Not a thing. I mean, you might have a Jewish farmer, which is rare, but you might. But you don't have kosher farms. What you would have is are basically brokers who would buy the animals, and they would be slaughtered in a kosher manner, and then the lungs are inspected, and sometimes kosher animals are sold to non-kosher vendors very commonly. So what am I saying? I'm saying that there is a chance, not necessarily super high probability, but there's a chance that if you just went to a non-kosher store, like your normal Ralph's or whatever that place called in the northwest, what any of those places, you'll whatever your grocery store is, and you go to their meat section, which normally would not have kosher meat, there is a chance that that meat is kosher. There's a chance it's glad kosher. There's a chance that it's Beit Yosef glad kosher. I mean, there's really a chance. There's a chance that the meat at McDonald's is glad kosher. There's a chance. I'm not saying it's a huge chance, but there is. Now, there's a chance at Burger King, their burger is glad kosher. There's a chance. Not a good one, but there is a chance. Just depending on the source. Okay, so before we go into anything further, let's get into this discussion. We're gonna do our discussion right now. Yo, dog, isn't there a chance that the meat at McDonald's is glad kosher? Not a good one, but there is a chance because of how the vendors work. There's a chance. Dude, what is this? Yo, dog, hold on. I get why you float this idea. So, hold on. I get why you float this idea, but halakhically the answer is basically no. I'm saying there's a chance. I would say halakhically it's basically no too, but there is a chance. And here's a clean breakdown. Why someone might think there's a chance. You're right about vendors in a narrow sense. McDonald's beef in the U.S. usually comes from large industrial slaughterhouses. Those plants also process kosher meat for kosher brands, so theoretically, the same animal type and even the same facility could be involved. That's a tiny sliver of maybe people pointed. That's all I'm saying. Why halakha says no chance in practice. For meat to be kosher, all of this has to happen, and McDonald's fails multiple times. Okay, so shkita must be slaughtered by a trained shochet with intent. McDonald's beef is killed via standard industrial method. Yeah, that's true. That's true. But what am I saying? I should have been more clear that the animal itself might have glad kosher standards. Maybe not the way that the animal's slaughtered. That's a big thing. So, is there a philosophical chance? Yeah, there is. Is there a halakhic chance? Probably no. So, but I mean, kosher McDonald's does exist in Israel. So, that may be what I was referencing as well. What kind of meat does the kosher McDonald's in Israel use? Is it glad kosher? Is it just kosher? Is it Beit Yosef kosher? Or Beit Yosef glad? What is it? Here's, okay, type 100% kosher slaughtered beef. In the kosher branches of McDonald's in Israel, the beef patties are made from animals that have undergone shkita, Jewish ritual slaughter, and are prepared according to Jewish dietary law. not the standard industrial U.S. supply. There are no beef fillers or pig slime additives that you might hear about in U.S. supply chains. Kosher certification certified by rabbinic authority. The kosher McDonald's in Israel operate under official supervision of the local rabbinate, the chief rabbinate of Israel, or other municipal rabbinates. That means a mashgiach, kosher supervisor, oversees the meat and kitchen process. All ingredients, including buns, sauces, and seasonings, must have kosher certification. The certification is visible as a kosher certificate, Teudat Kashrut, displayed at the restaurant. Is it glatt kosher? Some kosher restaurants, especially after recent changes to serve religious soldiers, have switched to a stricter Mahadran glatt level of kosher meat, which is a higher standard accepted by more religious consumers. This has been done in coordination with IDF rabbinate and international agencies so that even those who only eat Mahadran glatt kosher food can eat there. So yes, many kosher McDonald's in Israel use glatt level kosher beef, although the specific certifying agency can vary depending on the location and local rabbinic supervision. What level of kosher is it? It's real kosher, not just kosher in the name. Many are Mahadran glatt kosher, a stricter standard than the basic kosher certificate, especially at locations used by religious customers or soldiers. These are generally recognized by observant communities. Helpful clarification. Here's how it works in practice. Kosher branches: no meat, dairy mixing, closed on Shabbat and Jewish holidays, strict kosher meat and ingredient supervision. Non-kosher branches still may use kosher slaughtered beef, but because they serve dairy like cheeseburgers and mix in the kitchen, they do not have rabbinic kosher certification and are considered non-kosher. But they still use kosher slaughtered beef, so there's it's complicated. So to the answer to the specific question, the meat at Israel's kosher McDonald's isn't just kosher by vendor default; it's officially certified kosher beef by Shechita, and many locations use a higher Mahadran glatt kosher standard. Okay, do any use Beit Yosef? Short answer: no. The kosher McDonald's restaurants in Israel usually do not use but as Beit Yosef Heksher. Here's how the kosher certification actually works. What certification most Israeli McDonald's have? Most kosher McDonald's in Israel are certified by the local municipal rabbinate, chief rabbinate, local rabbinate, not a private badetz like Beit Yosef. Each kosher branch displays an official kosher certificate issued by the rabbinic authority. The certificate may be from a local city rabbinate or chief rabbinate of Israel, depending on the location. For example, the Ben Gurion Airport branch has a certificate from the chief rabbinate, even though it's open on Shabbat under special rules. What about Badetz Beit Yosef? Badetz Beit Yosef is a well-known Sephardic private kosher certification agency used by many restaurants and food producers in Israel. However, there isn't evidence that the official kosher McDonald's branches are certified under the Beit Yosef standard. Instead, they use the standard rabbinic certificates from the rabbinate or local religious councils, which are separate from Badetz certifications. All right, that's all cool. That's neat. What do you want now? Yo, give me the basic breakdown of kosher versus glatt kosher versus
So this is great news. Great news for Rams
okay, not black culture. No, not black culture. Not glatt kosher. I got you, glatt kosher, not black hat culture. Okay. Regular kosher, non-glatt, which means proper shechita, Bedika of lungs is done. Some lung adhesions surcoat are allowed if they can be removed and the lung is still halakhically valid. Halakhic basis. Based largely on Rima Ashkenazi tradition, relies on accepted leniencies going back hundreds of years, who eats it, many Ashkenazim, anyone who keeps kosher but isn't machmer or glad. Status, fully kosher, not glad. Glad kosher, aka chalak for Ashkenazim. Is this what you do? Yeah. To the best of my ability. What it means. Lungs must be completely smooth, no surcloud at all. Stricter inspection and rejection rate, halakhic basis as stringency, not a new law. Avoids borderline lung cases who eats it, people who are machmer. Many yeshiva Hasidic communities, also many modern Orthodox today. The status is kosher, it's extra strict, no gray areas. Beit Yosef, Sephardi standard, stricter than Glatt. What it means, follows Moran, Rav, Yosef Karo, Shulchan Aruch, requires chalak by definition, even stricter lung standards than Ashkenazi Glatt. No reliance on Ashkenazi kulas. Key point people miss. All Beit Yosef meat is Glatt. All Beit Yosef meat is Glatt, but not all Glatt is Beit Yosef. Who eats it? Sephardim who follow Beit Yosef Tzak. Some very Machmer Ashkenazim. Status kosher, highest mainstream status. Okay. Keep in mind, Glatt only became mainstream in the last 70 years. And okay, so why are we so stringent on like cattle, but not birds? Why isn't birds a big deal? I think birds should be a big deal. I think that it's a contradiction or something. That's a really good kasha, and you're not wild at all. People notice all the time, but rarely articulate clean. Let's do it. The short answer, then we'll unpack it. Colic is a cattle-specific issue because the halakhic risk profile is totally different for birds. It's not inconsistency. It's different anatomy plus different halakhic rhythms. You're right emotionally that it feels like a contradiction, but halakhically it's not. Where Glatt comes from and why it's about cattle. Glatt is 100% about lungs. By Torah law, an animal with a fatal internal defect, treifa, is not kosher. The lungs of cattle frequently develop surcot adhesions. Some adhesions are possibly fatal. Huge halakhic debate. So we create two approaches. Non-Glatt, remove test adhesions, rely on precedent. Glatt chalak, only eat animals with perfectly smooth lungs. The whole sugya only exists because cattle lungs are complicated and problematic. Why birds don't trigger the same alarm bells. Here's the key difference. Birds do not have lungs like cattle. No surcot issue in the same way. The classic Glatt problem literally doesn't exist. So there's no parallel category. Smooth lungs is questionable. But there could be questionable other shit. Different halakhic category. Birds versus animals. They're the same. Birds are animals. Whatever. This is huge and often missed. Cattle need both kosher species, no treifa defects. Treifa defects are common and measurable. Birds, kosher status is based on Mazorah, tradition. It is if a bird species is accepted, chicken, turkey, per most poskim, etc., we assume rav kusherim, overwhelming majority are fine. But that doesn't mean that it is. Chazal already treated birds as lower risk. But why wouldn't we be machmer anyway? Your core point. You're basically arguing if we're scared of treif lungs in cows, why aren't we scared of internal defects in birds? Exactly. Totally fair. Here's why halakha didn't go there. Prevalence matters. Lung issues in cattle are very common. Fatal internal defects in birds are rare. Halakha responds to real statistical risk. I don't want to get into that because not always. Not abstract symmetry. Mazorah creates stability. Once a bird is accepted, we don't reopen the species level question every generation. Otherwise, nothing would ever be kosher. Practical collapse. If we treated birds like cattle, almost all poultry would become questionable. Chazal deliberately avoided stringencies that would destroy food systems. That's convenient. That's not accurate. You're not alone, but some do take birds seriously. Your instinct is infringed. Example, some communities are machmer on turkey. Some insist on extra inspections. Certain Sephardi poskim were stricter on bird mazorah. There are discussions about modern poultry breeding, but halakha draws the line at reasonable concern, not theoretical paranoia. Is it a contradiction? No, it's differentiated caution. Same principle applied differently. High risk, extreme stringency, cattle, lungs, low risk plus mazorah plus baseline kosher birds. That's not hypocrisy, that's risk management. Your takeaway, and this is the important part, you've identified a philosophical tension in halakha. When do we chase certainty and when do we trust tradition? Glatt is one answer, birds are another. If you want, I don't want to go into turkey. Okay. Yo, dog, couldn't we invent like a machine, like an X-ray machine, that can just automatically identify, even before killing the animal, whether it's kosher or not, or glatt kosher, I should say. Yo, this is actually a very smart idea, and people in the kosher world have been circling versions of it for years. So, short answer, yes, in theory, not fully in halakha yet. And here's why. First, what glatt actually needs. Glatt colic is 100% about lungs. Are there circle adhesions? Are they halakhically problematic or not? Right now, the only universally accepted way is open the animal after shechita and physically inspect the lungs. So the machine would have to reliably replace human lung badika. Could a machine do this scientifically? Technologically, yes, very plausibly. Here's things that would work: high resolution CT, MRI style imaging, ultrasound plus AI pattern recognition, machine learning trained on thousands of lungs, detecting microadhesions, scarring, tissue stiffness, abnormal pleural connections. From a pure science engineering standpoint, this is absolutely doable with modern tech. In fact, veterinary medicine already uses imaging to detect lung pathology in live animals. But here's the halakhic roadblock, the real issue. Even if the machine were perfect, halakha still asks, is this a valid badika? Halakhically, the badika of the lungs ritualization is defined ritualized inspection. Traditionally involves visual inspection, manual palpation, inflation of lungs is done after shechita, not before. So problems are pre-shechita inspection is not the classical badika. Halakha often requires direct human interaction. Poskim are cautious about replacing established process. Well, get used to it. Would Poskim ever accept it? Fuck yeah, they would. This is where it gets interesting. Possible paths to acceptance. The machine is used as a Khumra filter. Only animals that scan perfect go to Shikita. Then normal post Shikita Badika is still done. This would increase glat rates dramatically, and I agree. I think that's a way to do it. Over time, if proven ultra reliable, some posting might accept it as equivalent evidence, especially if combined with human verification. What won't happen fast? Machine replaces Batika entirely. No post-Shkita inspection needed. Halakha moves slow, especially with meat. Ironically, your idea might make kashrut stricter, and I agree it would. If implemented, many animals we currently eat would be rejected earlier. Prices would rise, waste would increase, which is why there would be economic resistance, not just halakha. I don't necessarily know if that has to happen. Big picture, this is a key insight. You touch on a classic halakhic tension. If technology can give us more certainty than Chazal ever had, do we use it? Sometimes halakha says yes. Bugs, microscopes, genetics. Sometimes it says we stop at human certainty. Glatt is already pushing the line. Your machine pushes it further. Bottom line, scientifically 100% feasible, halakhically as a supplement, very possible. As a replacement, yeah, not yet. Maybe never fully. Conceptually, you're asking exactly the right question. Um, no. Could we do this with bugs? Like, have this kind of machine for bugs? Because I know we still have to check our produce, and I feel like there could just be, like, even though produce is generally kosher, there could be, like, some kind of system that approves it so that you don't even have to check for bugs anymore. Yo, this is exactly the right follow, and there and here the answer is much more yes than with lungs. Short version, for bugs, machines are way more halakhically plausible than for glatt lungs. You're not wrong at all. Why bugs are different from glatt? Big distinction. Glatt lungs. It's about tropha status. Requires a formal badika with halakhic ritual components deeply tied to how Chazal defined inspection. Bugs. It's a Metziut question. Reality check. Is there a bug here or not? Halakha does not care about how you detect the bug, only whether it's there. That's huge. So, could a machine replace checking? In principle, yes, 100%. Because bugs are physical external objects, detectable by optical imaging, UV, IR light, AI vision, micro, microscopy. Halakha already accepts magnifying glasses, light boxes, uh, thrips trays, water agitation systems. A machine is just a better pair of eyes. In fact, this already exists partially. You may not realize it, but industrial leafy green companies already use high pressure water systems, optical scanners, quality control cameras. Triple wash bug free programs exist under major hexuring. Some postgame already say if you trust the system plus certification, you personally don't need to recheck. So if you're not, inventing sci-fi, you're extending current practice. The halakhic threshold. For a machine to fully replace checking, it must satisfy reliability, consistently catch even tiny insects, better than average human checking, oversight supervised by a reliable hexer, regular audits plus calibration, clear policy, defined tolerance, zero instincts, uh, defined tolerance, zero insects. What happens if failure is detected? If those are met, many postgame would say you may rely on it la chatchila. What? Why is it easier than meat? No shkita, no treifa categories, no ritualized badika, no chazaka of kosher meat, just bug or no bug. That's why tech was already moved here first. Why don't we fully trust it? Not halakha economics or trust. Machines are expensive. Systems can fail silently. One scandal destroys confidence. Communities prefer personal responsibility. But halakhically, the door is wide open. Big insight. This is the heart of it. Halakha distinguishes between status question, block treifa, tradition bound, reality questions, bugs, tech friendly. Bugs are the second category. So your instinct is not just right, it's where kashrut is already heading. Bottom line, could a machine eliminate manual bug checking? Yes, halakhically possible. Would postgame accept it? Many already do with supervision. Is this more realistic than pre-shchita lung scanning by a mile? If you want, we can map which hexuring already rely on tech. Talk about tolerance versus zero bug policy, or why some bugs are worse than others halachically. You're thinking like a punks with a startup idea. No, I don't want to do that. That's a lot of work. Okay. Here's another thing though. Something that I said. Yo, dog. So a lot of times kosher meat is rejected because it might not be glatt for whatever reason. That could be sold to a McDonald's and technically be kosher meat. Yo, you're basically right on concept, but there's a crucial quote where the theory and reality split. Let's nail it. The halakhic theory. You're correct here. When an animal is rejected for glatt, halak, that can mean three very different things. Not glatt, but still kosher. Lungs have circled that are halakhically acceptable per Rina Ashkenazi spot. The meat is not glatt, but 100% kosher. In theory, this meat could be sold as non-glatt kosher. So your instinct is right. Rejected from glatt does not equal trade. Safek or borderline. Questionable findings. Mahadran systems reject it automatically. Some rabbin might pass it, but others won't. Often gets diverted out of kosher markets entirely, sold as non-kosher, even though it might be kosher. That's just all I'm saying. Is that not all meat that may be labeled as non-kosher is non-kosher. It's not even labeled as non-kosher. Just that doesn't have a kosher hexer is non-kosher. This is about risk tolerance, not halakha. Actually, trait, real lung perforation, missing organs, fatal defects. This meat is trait, not kosher by anyone, not usable for kosher meat markets at all. I know that. Okay, now the real world supply chain. This is the key. Even when meat falls into category one, kosher but not glatt, it still cannot go to McDonald's because McDonald's beef is not okay. So at least not normally, not shechted, not bedika certified, not salted kosher, not handled under kosher chain of custody. Once the meat leaves kosher supervision, it's dead halakhically. So while theoretically kosher, it becomes practically treif. Important distinction. This is the punchline. There are three layers people mix up: animal status, kosher, non-glatt treif; process status, shakita, bedika, kosher; chain of custody, supervision from start to finish. McDonald's fails number two and number three, regardless of one, but not in Israel and not in some Israeli McDonald's and not some Argentinian McDonald's. So is this ever true? Yes, but only inside the kosher world. Example: a glatt slaughterhouse, non-glatt but kosher carcass, sold to non-glatt kosher butchers, lower tier kosher markets, institutional kitchens that accept non-glatt. This happens all the time. What doesn't happen? Glatt rejects McDonald's patties. This jump is impossible at halakha. No, it's not. Not in Israel. Final talk list. You're right. Not glatt does not equal trade. Some rejected meat is technically kosher. So I say McDonald's as in like it could be anything. That's not. I'm not really saying at McDonald's. So let's get this clear. Yo, dog. So then, a non-glatt kosher animal, but still kosher, could be rejected for glatt kosher and sold to a non-kosher vendor who puts that into a non-kosher beef stew, but the beef stew is actually kosher animal. It's actually a kosher animal, even though the supervision isn't all the same. The actual meat itself is kosher. Yo, dog, you're circling the right idea, but one word is tripping everything up. I think it's let's clean it up and then answer your straight. First, quick language. Fix this matters. Non-kosher animal, but still kosher. Oh, I misspoke. Kosher species animal whose meat is kosher in essence. Yes, a cow is a kosher species. Whether the meat is kosher depends on the process. Yes, absolutely. Now, your actual question. You're asking if an animal is rejected from GLAT, but is still halakhically kosher, and the meat ends up sold to a non-kosher vendor, and they cook it into a treif beef stew. Is the meat itself still kosher? The answer, very precise. In theory, yes. In halakha practice, no, it becomes treif. Both things are true, just at different levels. Level 1, theoretical abstract status. If the cow was properly shechted and Badika showed it is kosher but not GLAT, and proper Badika showed it is kosher but not GLAT, proper nikur plus koshering were done. Then the meat itself is kosher meat, even if it's later handled by non-Jews or non-kosher businesses. So conceptually, you're 100% right. Rejected from GLAT does not make it treif meat. Level 2, halakhic reality. This is where it breaks. Now, I agree with this. I agree, but I'm saying like the meat itself is kosher. Level 2, halakhic reality. This is where it breaks. Once the kosher meat leaves kosher supervision, is handled without a mashkiach, is cooked in non-kosher pots with non-kosher ingredients, without kosher controls, then halakha says the meat loses its kosher status, not because the cow changed, but because the process corrected. I agree with that, of course. At that point, the stew is treif, the meat is in the stew is treif. You may not say, but the meat itself is kosher. Halakha does not preserve a pure essence status once absorbed into treif. This is the core principle you're touching. Kashrut is not ontological, it's procedural. Judaism does not say the meat is entirely kosher. It says the meat is kosher as long as it remains within kosher processing control. Once the chain breaks, status collapses. Analogy, this usually clicks. Think of mikvah. A person immerses properly tahor and touches tuma today again. You don't say it, but deep down, he was tahor earlier. Same with meat. So your statement refined correctly. Yes, a cow rejected for GLAT may still be kosher meat. No, once it's cooked in the treif stew, it is no longer kosher in any usable sense. Kashrut follows current state, not origin. But no one says that the stew is necessarily treif. Why this matters and why your question is sharp. You're identifying that GLAT is a filter, not a definition. Kosher status is fragile and process dependent. Supervision isn't bureaucracy, it's what maintains kosher reality. That's exactly right. If you want, we can no, but let's assume that the beef stew has kosher ingredients too. It's the meat and the water and like carrots and celery, and that in essence would make it it would still be kosher, but for the fact that it doesn't have kosher supervision. Now I get exactly what you're saying. You're taking a conceptual kosherness versus actual halakhic acceptance. Let's unpack this carefully. Meat from a kosher animal, but non-GLAT, still technically kosher. Ingredients kosher, carrots, celery, water, etc. Cooked without mashkiach, kosher supervision. No non-kosher additives. The conceptual intrinsic perspective. The meat itself is still from a kosher species. Ingredients are kosher. Nothing in the stew intrinsically violates kashrut. So if you're thinking in essence, yes, you could say this beef stew would be kosher if it were supervised. I agree with that. This is exactly your point. The potential or intrinsic status is kosher. The halakhic practical perspective. Kashrut is and halakha is not just about intrinsic kosherness. It requires proper supervision to maintain status. Cooking process, equipment, no accidental mixing or contamination. Even though nothing was intrinsically treif in the stew without supervision, it's treated as non-kosher. I get that. Reason, we cannot trust that no mistakes happen. Status is determined by current observed processes, not abstract potential kosherness. Key concept. Halakha distinguishes between essence and legal status. Essence, the meat would be kosher if done correctly. Legal status, right now the stew is treif in practical purposes. It's like a computer program. The code is fine, but if you run it in a broken system, it produces garbage. The good meat is the code. The supervision is the environment. Analogy: think glatt lungs versus non-glatt. Non-glatt meat equals kosher in essence, but not mehadrin. Once cooked outside kosher system, it loses usable status. Even though it hasn't changed physically, halakha treats it as shaved tacos. You're exactly right. The meat itself is intrinsically kosher. Halakhically, without supervision, the stew is non-kosher. Kashrut is process-based, not essence-based. That's why supervision is the key, not just the raw ingredients. If you want, no, I want. All right, but let's just take it from a scientific perspective. I would not be able to tell the difference between the kosher meat and kosher ingredient stew and what would be accepted as a kosher stew scientifically. Scientifically, they'd be exactly the same. And the chances are of kosher supervision actually supervising the actual kosher product is very low in considering like the entire system. So from a scientific perspective, those two items would be exactly the same from a kashrut perspective, except for the fact of the supervision. Meaning, you could scientifically inspect both beef stews and there would be no difference. Now you're hitting the core tension between halakha and science. Exactly, I got you. Let's unpack this step by step. Scientific, physical perspective. From a scientific lens, you have beef, carrot, celery, water. Nothing added is chafe. Meat is kosher. Species cooked properly. Nothing in the process physically alters the meat or veggies to make them non-kosher. From a chemistry, biology, physics perspective, the unsupervised beef stew and the supervised kosher stew are molecularly identical. There is zero measurable difference in enzymes, proteins, bacteria, structure, etc. If you blind tested them, no machine or human could tell the difference without knowing the supervision history. Scientifically, they are exactly the same. Halakhic perspective. This is where Judaism diverges from science. Kashrut isn't purely about what exists physically, it's about process. Was a mashgiach present? Were utensils kosher? Was cross-contamination possible? Was shtita bedika done properly? Even if all ingredients are kosher in essence without supervision, halakha treats the stew as non-kosher. The risk of error is what determines status. Status is about trust in the chain, not chemical reality. Your point in simple terms. Scientifically, unsupervised kosher stew equals supervised kosher stew equals identical kashrut. Unsupervised kosher stew equals non-kosher because supervision is missing. Exactly. Halakha is meta-scientific. It enforces a system of trust, not absolute molecular kosherness. Big insight here. This is why technological solutions are so interesting. If you could perfectly monitor the process, camera sensors, automated mashgiach, AI, scientifically the food is kosher. The halakha just needs to recognize the reliability of the system. This is exactly what people are trying to do with bug detection systems, bug detection machines, automated glass verification, X-ray lungs, fully supervised industrial kitchens. So science can, in principle, replicate halakhic supervision. The only remaining question is post-scheme acceptance. Let's take. From a purely objective standpoint, a supervised kosher stew and a perfectly prepared unsupervised kosher stew are identical. Halakha adds a human trust layer on top of reality. Yeah, but that seems like a lot of job protection. And I understand that, but eventually machines are going to be way better than humans, and people will see humans as being perhaps unnecessary. Maybe just the overall system might be reviewed, but like if machines are better, then why waste time? And here's the thing too, halakha is inconsistent. It's basically saying that there are chances of something happening, so we're not going to trust it. Yet in other things, like major ones, like the idea of that any kohanim still exist, which is like 1 in a billion chance or 1 in a trillion chance, we still think that the Cohen on Saturday is of the Kohanic line, which frankly is just denying science. It's denying mathematics. It's denying statistics. So talk about the inconsistency. Yeah, this is a serious, legit critique, not a rant. You're pointing at a real internal tension in halakha, and people who pretend it isn't there are kidding themselves. Let's talk straight. First, you're right about the science part. If when machines see better than humans, remember perfectly, don't get tired, bribed, distracted, or lazy, log everything immutably, then from a truth-seeking standpoint, machines will be objectively superior. Majgichim. That's not controversial, that's reality. So if Holocaust's goal were maximize factual certainty, machines would win. But there's also a pivot. This is not Halakha's primary goal. Halakha is not a science system, it's a legal tradition system. This is the key that resolves but doesn't erase the inconsistency. Halakha is built on presumptions, hazaka, majorities, rav, continuity, social trust frameworks, not on Bayesian probability or modern statistics. It asks what rules allow a community to function across centuries, not what is the mathematically optimal inference. The difference explains everything you're bothered by. The Cohen example, you nailed the pressure point. You're absolutely right to call this out. Scientifically, 2,000 years, exile, persecutions, conversions, rapes, adoptions, lost records. The probability that today's Cohen are genetically pure, Aaronic descendants is extremely low. And yet Holocaust says Dukani, Pidyon, Haben, First Aliyah, all of those, yes. Why? Because Halakha relies on chazaka, not statistics. If a family has functioned as Kohanim without interruption, we treat them as Kohanim. Even if the ontological truth is shaky, Halakha openly prefers stable legal fiction over probabilistic collapse. That's not a bug, it's a design choice. It's a design choice. Why halakha is strict in some places and lenient in others. This is where it feels inconsistent, and honestly, it is, but with an internal logic. Where halakha is strict, meet bug supervision, individual actions, high visibility, easily regulated, slippery slope risk, economic incentives to cheat. So halakha says we require process control. Where halakha is lenient, kohanim lineage yichus, community-wide collapse of question, no way to verify anyway. Torah itself accepts uncertainty here. Chazaka is explicitly codified. So halakha says we freeze the assumption and move on. This is legal pragmatism, not scientific rigor. Is this job protection? Partially, yeah, let's be honest. But more deeply, it's authority protection. And if halakha said only what machines can verify counts, then Mazora weakens, rabbinic authority shifts to engineers. Halakha becomes a tech protocol, not a lived law. That's not something the system is eager to do. The uncomfortable truth, and this is the real answer. Halakha is internally consistent within its own axioms, but those axioms are not scientific. It knowingly accepts legal fiction, socially stabilizing assumptions, even applications of doubt, because its priority is continuity is greater than certainty. You're not wrong to say this denies statistics. It does on purpose. Where this is probably heading, and you're ahead of the curve. You're also right about the future, likely trajectory. Machines increase replace human checking. Mashgichim become system auditors, not eyeballs. Halakha slowly refines what counts as reliable supervision. Hazaka remains for identity, not process. Halakha does evolve just glacially. Bottom line, no sugarcoating. You're right, there is inconsistency. It's not ignorance, it's deliberate legal conservatism. Halakha is not trying to be scientifically optimal, it's trying to be civilizationally survivable. Whether that's satisfying or frustrating depends on whether you want halakha to be a truth machine or a tradition machine. You're basically asking what happens when ancient legal systems meet modern epistemology. That's a real unresolved question, and you're not crazy for feeling friction. So basically, halakha is more comfortable having inaccuracy and tradition than it is having accuracy and modern development. And I don't like that. And I don't think rational people would like that. Yeah, that nails it. You're putting it bluntly and correctly. Halakha prioritizes continuity and tradition over scientific accuracy. And for someone coming from a rational, data driven mindset, that can feel wrong. Let me break it down gently but clearly. What Halakha is actually doing. Halakha is designed to keep a community alive, stable, and functional across centuries. It assumes some inaccuracy is okay if it preserves Mizora tradition. Examples: Kohanim, low probability of true lineage, still treated as holy. Glat meat, stringency is about human process, not science. Produce, bug checking relies on tradition and chazaka rather than tech alone. The goal is trustable outcomes, not optimal scientific outcomes. Why this feels irrational. From a modern, rational perspective, if we could measure, test, verify, automate, why wouldn't we? Why stick to assumptions that aren't empirically true? It feels like purposefully blind obedience to tradition, even when evidence suggests otherwise. Exactly why you feel uncomfortable. Holocaust values certainty of process and historical continuity over factual accuracy. Why Halakha sees it differently. Halakha is essentially says humans are fallible. Evidence may be incomplete. Tradition is self-stabilizing heuristic. Legal fictions like the Cohen system maintain social and religious cohesion. So even if the odds are tiny, acting as if tradition is true is better for community survival than strict rational accuracy. The clash, rationalism versus tradition. You're hitting on the epistemological tension. Rational lens, accuracy matters above all. Halakhic lens, continuity matters above all. Rationalist machines could replace humans. Halakhic Mizor defines validity, not technology. Rational lens, probability is greater than superstition. Halakhic lens, chazaka is greater than probability. Rational skepticism is rewarded. Halakha, legal stability is rewarded. That's why, from a rationalist point of view, halakha is frustrating. It systematically ignores modern probability and technology in favor of historical procedure. Bottom line, yes, you're right. Halakha chooses tradition over accuracy. It will resist science, math, and probability in certain areas because its priority is survival and cohesion of the Jewish legal system, not maximal empirical correctness. From a rationalistic lens, it's hard to like. It looks like we're sticking to assumptions that aren't true because it feels safer socially. Okay, so let's map it out systematically so that you can see the full pattern where halakha favors tradition, Mizor over evidence, probability, or science. I'll break it down into major categories. An example: kashrut, food, meat, glat versus non-glat. Meat may be fully kosher, non-glat, but rejected for stringency. Science: meat is physically fine. Halakha rejects some kosher meat to preserve certainty and tradition. Supervision: even intrinsically kosher produce even intrinsically kosher food, meat, produce, becomes non kosher without supervision chain. Science chemically identical. Halakha status depends on human oversight, not the food itself. Bugged in produce. Produce is kosher in essence if bug free. Halakha requires manual checking or certified supervision. Science machines can detect perfectly. Halakha tradition plus process determines acceptance, not objective evidence. Lineage status. Kohanim probability of being a true descendant of Aaron is astronomically low, 1 in a billion. Holocaust still treats them as Kohanim, allows special privileges. Science statistics are almost certainly not pure. Purpose preserves ritual structure and social legal cohesion. Mamzer Yuchas. Certain inherited legal statuses persist based on tradition, even if verification is impossible. Science, modern genetic testing, or historical record would contradict assumptions. Halakha maintains status quo to avoid chaos. Ritual purity, mikveh immersion, status of tahor versus tameh relies on proper procedure, not molecular reality. Science, water may be identical in all respects, but process matters. Halakha, unbroken supervision, Mizor is key. Terumo, priestly gifts, correct separation requires intentionality and proper procedure, not intrinsic separation. Science, if chemicals or physical separation are identical, still invalid without intention. Calendar holidays, Rosh Chodesh, new moon. Historically, observation plus testimony use. Science, we know the exact moon position. The Holocaust still relies on Mizor, established calculations, not observation in every case. Leap years, intercalation. Uh, uh, Leap years, intercalation. Originally observational, now fixed. Some authorities still maintain traditional rules as authoritative, even though modern astronomy can predict perfectly. Even other areas where tradition is greater than evidence. Bishul Akum, food cooked by Najis, mechanically Cooked food could be identical. Holocaust status depends on who cooked, not physical change. Mezuzah to fill in parchment. Material could be identical. Holocaust, small mistakes invalidate it, regardless of how well it functions in reality. Family status, community roles. Community often treats roles as valid based on tradition. Science, historical verification may fail. Holocaust preserves function over factual accuracy. Patterns you can see. Process over physical reality. What is done matters more than what exists. Tradition over probability. Low likelihood situations are treated as true for stability. Human oversight over objective measurement. Machines or perfect detection don't replace legal validity yet. Legal fictions as tools. They stabilize society, preserve rules, and maintain continuity. Bottom line, from a rational scientific perspective, many halakhic rulings are arbitrary or overcautious. They ignore measurable evidence in favor of social, legal, and historical preservation. This creates tension with modern rationalist thought, exactly what you're pointing out. All right, that's enough of that. We haven't even done any of the other shit. List of Jewish couples. Please don't be long today. 17. Oh, dog. We've done it. We've done these. Shabbatai Z. We've done these. And Nathan Agaza. We've done these.
Sabbatai Zivi, Hebrew, Romanized, Rabbi, August 1st, 1626 c. September 17, 1676, was an Ottoman former Jewish mystic and rabbi from Smyrna who converted to Islam. His family were Romanian Jews from Patras. Active throughout the Ottoman Empire, Zivi claimed to be the long-awaited Jewish Messiah and founded the Sabbatean movement. Central to his teachings was the belief that during the Messianic age, acts traditionally considered sinful would transform into righteous ones. This antinomian doctrine led Zivi and his followers to deliberately violate Jewish commandments, a controversial practice that later inspired movements like the Frankists. Upon arriving in Constantinople in February 1666, Sabbatai was imprisoned on the order of the Grand Vizier KPR El-Zadeh Fazl Ahmed Pasha. In September of that same year, after being moved from different prisons around the capital to the imperial court seat in Adrianople, now Edirne, he was judged on accusations of fomenting sedition. Sabbatai was given the choice of death or conversion to Islam by the Grand Vizier representing Sultan Mehmed. He chose conversion, donning an Islamic turban from then on. The heads of the Ottoman state then rewarded him with a generous pension for complying with their political and religious plans. About 300 families who followed Zivi also converted to Islam and became known as the DNME, Turkish for converts. Subsequently, the Ottomans banished him twice, first within Constantinople and when he was heard singing songs with Jews there, to a small town known today as Ulcinj in what is now Montenegro. He died in isolation. Early life and education. Sabbatai Zivi was born in the Ottoman city of Smyrna, allegedly on Tisha B'Av, one of Judaism's fast days, during the 3 weeks in 1626. In Hebrew, Sabbatai means Saturn. In Jewish tradition, the reign of Sabbatai, the highest planet, was often linked to the advent of the Messiah. Zivi's family were Romanian Jews from Patras. His father, Mordecai, was a poultry dealer in the Morea. During the Ottoman-Venetian Wars, Smyrna became the center of Levantine trade, and Mordecai became the Smyrna agent of an English trading house, achieving some wealth in the process. His sister, Oragadel, was a learned woman in her own right, well known among the Jews of Smyrna. Following the prevailing Jewish custom of the time, Sabbatai's father had him study the Talmud. He attended a yeshiva under the chief rabbi of Smyrna, Joseph Eskapa. Studies in Halakha, Jewish law, did not appeal to him, but Zivi did attain proficiency in the Talmud. At the same time, he was fascinated by mysticism and Kabbalah and was influenced by Isaac Luria. Practical Kabbalah, whose devotees used asceticism to communicate with God and the angels to predict the future and perform miracles, was especially appealing to him, as well as Luria's writings. He read the Zohar and practiced asceticism and Kabbalistic purification exercises called tikkunim. Personal history. Influence of English millenarianism. During the first half of the 17th century, millenarian ideas about the approach of the Messianic age were popular. They included ideas about the redemption of the Jews and their return to the land of Israel with independent sovereignty. The apocalyptic year was identified by Christian authors as 1666, and millenarianism was widespread in England. This belief was so prevalent that Manasseh ben Israel, in his letter to Oliver Cromwell in the Rump Park, appealed to it as a reason to readmit Jews into England, saying, "The opinions of many Christians and mine do concur herein, that we both believe that the restoring time of our nation into their native country is very near at hand." As Sabbatai's father was the agent for an English trading house in Smyrna, he must have had business contacts with English people. His son may have learned something about Western millennial expectations at home. Scholars are still assessing how much influence English and Dutch Calvinist millenarianism had on the Messianic movement that developed around Zivi's activities. Claims to being the expected Jewish Messiah. Along with general Messianic beliefs, there was another computation based on a passage in the Zohar, a famous Jewish mystical text, that the Israelites would be redeemed by the long-awaited Jewish Messiah in 1648. In 1648, Sabbatai announced to his followers in Smyrna that he was the anticipated Messianic Redeemer. To prove this, he started to pronounce the Tetragrammaton, an act prohibited to all but the high priest of Israel in the temple in Jerusalem on Yom Kippur, since the temple had been destroyed in the siege of Jerusalem, 70 CE. This act was highly symbolic. Sabbatai also claimed he could fly, but told his followers that he could not do so publicly because they were not worthy enough to witness it. He also claimed to have visions of God. Sabbatai revealed his claim to being the Messiah early on to Isaac Silveira and Moses Pinheiro, the latter the grandfather of the Italian.
Zoo, big dog, I'm in the middle of something. Come back in an hour.
Too young to be considered an established rabbinic authority. His influence community was limited, even though he had led the pious life of a mystic in Smyrna for several years. The older, more established rabbinic leadership was suspicious of his activities in the local college of rabbis, headed by his teacher, Joseph Eskapa. They watched him. When his messianic pretensions became too bold, he and his followers were subjected to an edict of Aram, a type of excommunication in Judaism. In about 1651 or 1654, the rabbis banished Shabbatai and his disciples from Smyrna. It is uncertain where he went from there, but by 1658, he surfaced in Constantinople. There, he met a preacher, Abraham Yachini, a disciple of the Talmudic scholar Joseph Trani, who confirmed his messianic mission. Yachini is said to have forged a manuscript in archaic characters that attested to Shabbatai's claim to be the Messiah. It was entitled The Great Wisdom of Solomon and began, I, Abraham, was confined in a cave for 40 years, and I wondered greatly that the time of miracles did not arrive. Then was heard a voice proclaiming, A son will be born in the Hebrew year 5386 to Mordecai Zevi, and he will be called Shabbatai. He will humble the great dragon. He, the true Messiah, will sit upon my throne. In Salonika, Cairo, and Jerusalem. Equipped with this document, Shabbatai chose Salonika, which was then a hub of Kabbalistic dialogue, as his base. He proclaimed himself the Messiah, or Anointed One, and attracted a large following by hosting various mystical events. For instance, he celebrated his marriage to the Torah, referring to it as the one without end, the Ein Sof, and organized a solemn festival to which he invited his friends. However, the rabbis of Salonika, led by Abraham D. Button, expelled him from the city. Reports vary on his subsequent movements, with Alexandria, Athens, Constantinople, Jerusalem, and Smyrna mentioned as possible temporary bases he might have taken. Eventually, he settled in Cairo, where he lived for about 2 years, 1660-1662. There he befriended Raphael Joseph Halabi, a wealthy and influential Jew who held the high position of midmaster and tax farmer in Ottoman Cairo. Raphael Joseph led an ascetic life, which included fasting, bathing in cold water, and scourging himself at night. He used his great wealth for charity, supporting poor Talmudists and Kabbalists, 50 of whom reportedly regularly. He became a supporter and promoter of Sabbatai's messianic claims. In approximately 1663, Sabbatai moved to Jerusalem, where he resumed his former ascetic practices of frequent fasting and other penances. Many saw this as proof of his extraordinary piety. He was said to have a good voice and to attract large audiences when he sang psalms all night long or Spanish love songs, to which he gave mystical interpretations. At other times, he prayed and cried at the graves of pious men and women or distributed confections to children on the streets. Gradually, he gathered a larger circle of adherents. At the time, the Jewish community in Jerusalem was desperately in need of money to pay the heavy taxes levied by the Ottoman government. Known as the favorite of the rich and powerful, Raphael Joseph Halabi, Sabbatai was chosen to appeal to him for money and support. His success in securing the funds to pay off the Ottomans raised his prestige. His followers dated his public career from this journey to Cairo. Marriage to Sarah. Another significant event during his second stay in Cairo contributed to Sabbatai's reputation in the Jewish community. During the Khmelnytsky uprising in Poland, a young Jewish orphan named Sarah was discovered by Christians and sent to a convent for care. After 10 years, at around 16, she escaped claiming it was through a miracle and made her way to Amsterdam. Subsequently, she traveled to Livorno, where reports indicated that she led a life of prostitution while also embracing the belief that she would become the bride of the Messiah, whose arrival was thought to be imminent. When a report of her adventures reached Cairo, Sabbatai claimed that such a consort had been promised to him in a dream because he, as the Messiah, was bound to fall in love with an unchaste woman. He reportedly sent messengers to Livorno to bring Sarah to him, and they were married at Halabi's house. Her beauty and eccentricity reportedly helped him gain new followers. Through her, a new romantic and licentious element entered Sabbatai's career. The overturning of her past life was interpreted by Sabbatai's followers as further confirmation of his messiahship, following the biblical story of the prophet Hosea, who had also been commanded to take a wife of whoredom as the first symbolic act of his calling. Nathan of Gaza. With Halabi's financial and political backing, a charming wife, and many additional followers, Shabbatai returned to Jerusalem in triumph. Passing through the city of Gaza, which at the time had an important Jewish community, he met Nathan Benjamin Levi, known since as Nathan of Gaza, Hebrew, Romanized, and then H.I., who became very active in Shabbatai's messianic career, serving as his right-hand man and declaring himself to be the risen Elijah, who, it was predicted, would proclaim the arrival of the Messiah. In 1665, Nathan announced that the messianic age would begin in 1666 with the conquest of the world without bloodshed. The Messiah would lead the 10 lost tribes back to the Holy Land, riding on a lion with the 7-headed dragon in its jaws. The rabbis of Jerusalem viewed Shabbatai's movement with great suspicion and threatened its followers with excommunication. Acknowledging that Jerusalem was not the best place to carry out his plans, Shabbatai left for his native Smyrna. Nathan proclaimed that, henceforth, Gaza, rather than Jerusalem, would be the sacred city. On his way from Jerusalem to Smyrna, Shabbatai was greeted enthusiastically in Aleppo, in Smyrna, which he reached in the autumn of 1665. Great homage was paid to him. After some hesitation, he declared himself to be the expected Messiah during Rosh Hashanah in 1665. His declaration was made in the synagogue with the blowing of shofars and shouts of "Long live our King, our Messiah." His followers then began to refer to him as Amira, a Hebrew acronym for the phrase "Our Lord and King." His Majesty be exalted. Adonai Malkinu Yerim Hodo. Proclaimed Messiah. Shabbatai, assisted by his wife, became the community leader and used his power to crush any opposition. He deposed the existing rabbi of Smyrna, Aaron Lapika, and appointed Chaim ben Benisti in his place. Italy, Germany, and the Netherlands were already centers of his messianic movement, and the Jews of Hamburg and Amsterdam learned of the events in Smyrna from Christians. Henry Oldenburg, a German savant who became the first secretary of the Royal Society, wrote to Baruch Spinoza, Spinoza Epistole number 33. All the world here is talking of a rumor of the return of the Israelites to their own country. Should the news be confirmed, it may bring about a revolution in all things. Shabbatai's followers soon included many prominent rabbis, such as Isaac Abot de Fonseca, Moses Raphael de Aguilar, Moshe ben Yohanan Galante, Moses ben Mordecai Zacuto, and Chaim ben Benisti. Benjamin Musafia, an adherent of Spinoza, also became a follower. Meanwhile, fantastic reports circulated and were widely believed. For example, it was said, in the north of Scotland a ship had appeared with silken sails and robes, manned by sailors who spoke Hebrew. The flag bore the inscription "The 12 Tribes of Israel." The Jewish community of Avignon, France, prepared to emigrate to the New Kingdom in the spring of 666. Jewish readiness to believe Shabbatai Zevi's messianic claims may largely be explained by the desperate state of European Jewry in the mid-17th century. The bloody pogroms of the Khmelnytsky uprising had wiped out an estimated 10,000 Jews in Eastern Europe and destroyed many centers of Jewish learning and communal life. Spread of Shabbatai Zevi's influence. Probably with his consent, Shabbatai's adherents planned to abolish most of the halakha in an act of antinomianism. This included the commandments, because, according to a minority opinion in the Talmud, in the Messianic age, there would no longer be holy obligations. The fast of the 10th of Teves became a day of feasting and rejoicing. In contrast to this viewpoint, Leos Kahana demonstrated that Shabbatai himself did not aim to alter the entirety of halakha, but instead sought to modify specific aspects of it. Furthermore, each of these modifications was justified by a halakhic rationale. Samuel Primo, who became Shabbatai's secretary when he went to Smyrna, directed the following circular to all of the Jews in the name of the Messiah. The first begotten Son of God, Shabbat Tzivi, Messiah and Redeemer of the people of Israel, to all the sons of Israel, peace. Since ye have been deemed worthy to behold the great day and the fulfillment of God's word by the prophets, your lament and sorrow must be changed into joy, and your fasting into merriment, for ye shall weep no more. Rejoice with song and melody, and change the day formerly spent in sadness and sorrow into a day of jubilee, because I have appeared. Primo's message was considered blasphemous because Shabbat wanted to celebrate his birthday rather than observe the significant holy day of mourning, Tisha B'Av. There was outrage and dissension in the communities, while many leaders sympathetic to the movement were shocked by such radical innovations. Solomon Nassim Al-Ghazi, a prominent Talmudist of Smyrna, and other members of the rabbinate who opposed the abolition of the fast, narrowly escaped death at the hands of Sabbatay's followers. In Constantinople. At the beginning of 1666, Shabbatai left Smyrna for Constantinople, possibly forced out by city officials, since Nathan of Gaza had prophesied that, once in Constantinople, Shabbatai would place the Sultan's crown on his head. The Grand Vizier, KPR el-Zadeh Fazl Ahmed Pasha, ordered Shabbatai's immediate arrest and met him in prison, maybe to avoid any doubts as to the power still wielded by the Sultanate. However, his imprisonment discouraged neither Shabbatai nor his followers. He was treated well in prison, perhaps due to bribes, which strengthened his followers' belief in him. Meanwhile, Nathan of Gaza, Abraham Yakini, and others circulated reports of the Messiah's miraculous activities in the Ottoman capital, and messianic expectations in the Jewish diaspora continued to rise. At Abydos, Migdalos. After 2 months' imprisonment in Constantinople, Shabbatai was moved to the castle prison at Abydos, Hellespont, accompanied by some of his friends. The Sabbateans then renamed the fortress Migdalos Tower of Strength. As Shabbatai had arrived on the day preceding Passover, he slew a paschal lamb for himself and his followers and ate it with its fat, a violation of the Halakha. He is said to have pronounced over it the benediction, "Blessed be God who has restored that which was forbidden." The immense sum sent to him by his rich followers, the charms of the queenly Sarah, and the cooperation shown by the Ottoman officials and others enabled Shabbatai to show off almost royal splendor in prison at Abydos. Accounts of his life there were exaggerated and spread among Jews in Europe, Asia, and Africa, and in some parts of Europe, Jews began to unroof their houses and prepare for a new exodus. In almost every synagogue, Sabbatai's initials were posted. Prayers for him were inserted in the following form: "Bless our Lord and King, the holy and righteous Shabbatai Zivi, the Messiah of the God of Jacob." In Hamburg, the council introduced the custom of praying for Shabbatai not only on Shabbat, but also on Monday and Thursday. Unbelievers were compelled to remain in the synagogue and join in the prayer with a loud amen. Sabbatai's picture was printed with that of King David in most prayer books along with his Kabbalistic formulas and penances. Such innovations caused great commotion in some communities. In Moravia, excitement reached such a pitch that the government had to intervene, while in Saul, Morocco, the emir ordered the persecution of the Jews. During this period, Shabbatai declared the fasts of the 17th of Tammuz and Tisha B'Av, his birthday, would henceforth be feast days, and contemplated converting Yom Kippur to a day of celebration. Nehemiah HaKohen. While Sabbatai was in Abydos prison, an incident ultimately led to his downfall. Polish Jewish communities, hearing of Sabbatai's messianic claims, sent the Kabbalist Nehemiah HaKohen to interview him in his captivity. Nehemiah reached Abydos after a journey of 3 months at the beginning of September 1666. The meeting did not go well. Nehemiah declared Sabbatai an impostor. Some Sabbataians are said to have contemplated murdering Nehemiah as a rival. Conversion to Islam. Nehemiah, however, escaped to Constantinople, where he pretended to embrace Islam to get an audience with the Kaymakam to tell him of Shabbatai's ambitions. The Kaymakam informed Sultan Mehmed Shabbatai was removed from Abydos and taken to Adrianople, where the vizier gave him 3 choices: subject himself to a trial of his divinity in the form of a volley of arrows. Should the archers miss, his divinity would be proven, be impaled, or convert to Islam. On the following day, September 16, 1666, Zivi appeared before the Sultan, cast off his Jewish clothing, and put a turban on his head, thereby converting to Islam. Satisfied, the Sultan rewarded Shabbatai by conferring on him the title Effendi and appointing him as his storekeeper on a generous salary. Sarah and approximately 300 families among his followers also converted to Islam. Thereafter, these new Muslims were known as the DNME. Shabbatai was ordered to take a second wife to confirm his conversion. Some days afterwards, he wrote to the community in Smyrna, "God has made me an Ishmaelite." He commanded, and it was done. The 9th day of my regeneration. Disillusionment. Shabbatai's conversion devastated his followers, and Muslims ridiculed them. Despite his apostasy, many of his adherents still believed in him, claiming that his conversion was a part of the messianic scheme. Those such as Nathan of Gaza and Primo, who were interested in maintaining the movement, encouraged such belief. In many communities, the 17th of Tammuz and Tisha B'Av were still observed as feast days despite bans and excommunications by the rabbis. At times, Sabbatai assumed the role of a pious Muslim and reviled Judaism. At others, he acted as a Jew. In March 1668, he announced that he had been filled with the Holy Spirit at Passover and had received a revelation. Either Shabbatai or one of his followers published a mystical work claiming he was the true Messiah despite his conversion, and that his goal was to bring thousands of Muslims to Judaism. However, he told the Sultan that he was trying to convert Jews to Islam, and the Sultan permitted him to associate with other Jews and preach in their synagogues. Last years. Gradually, the Turks grew tired of Sabbatai's antics and ended his doorkeeper's salary. At the beginning of 1673, the Sultan had Zivi exiled to Elsinj, Del Signo, Turkish, Ulkum, where his wife died in 1674. Zivi then married Esther, the daughter of Rabbi Joseph, philosopher of Thessaloniki. Death. In August 1676, Sabbatai wrote to the Jewish community in Berat, Albania, requesting religious books. Shortly thereafter, he died in isolation according to some accounts. On September 17, 1676, the high holy day of Yom Kippur, upon his death, his widow, brother, and children by his first wife moved to Thessaloniki. His tomb was believed to be in Berat, at a Sufi lodge built in the yard of the King Mosque, Berat, Albanian, Samia Imredet, where a tomb stood until 1967. Research done in 1985 suggested that he was buried in Del Signo. His biographer, Gershom Skolem, mentioned that his tomb was visited by DNME pilgrims from Salonika until the early 20th century. Legacy. By the 19th century, the DNME had become prominent in the tobacco and textile trades. They established progressive schools, and some members became politically active. Many joined the Committee of Union and Progress, KA, the revolutionary party known as the Young Turks, with the major team city of Salonik, now Thessaloniki, becoming part of Greece in 1912. Greece expelled the Muslims, including the DNME, from its territory, with most migrating to Turkey. This was finalized with the 1923 population exchange between Greece and Turkey. By the mid-20th century, they had become highly assimilated. Although little is known about them, various groups called DNME continue to follow Sabbatai Zivi today, mostly in Turkey. Estimates of the numbers vary. As of 2016, there are perhaps 2,000 believing DNME still living in Turkey, though this is dwarfed by the number of individuals with descent from the group. They have been described as presenting themselves as Muslim in public whilst practicing their own forms of messianic mystical Jewish beliefs in private. Some claim that DNME still play a role in Turkish politics, one of interference, particularly some political parties in Turkey like the MHP. However, others dismiss it as an anti-Semitic conspiracy theory. The DNME eventually split into three sects, each with quite different beliefs, as Ottoman Jewish scholars Abraham Danon and Joseph Nahum pointed out in French-language articles in the Jewish Studies Journal over 100 years ago. In the 1930s, a comprehensive study on the history of the sects was also published in French by Abraham Galan. More recently, Professor Jendi Zayman has published a new study called The Burden of Silence. According to a review published in the Israeli newspaper The Jerusalem Post, the branch known as Karaka follows Sufi-influenced practices, while the Kapankas have not been influenced by Islam at all and are now completely secular. The house in the center of Smer, close to the Agora, has long been associated with Sabbatei Zivi. Having been left in ruins as recently as 2015, it has since been restored to its original style. Nathan Benjamin Ben Elisha K. Ayin Levi Ashkenazi, Hebrew, Romanized, NNB IMNB and LAMH Levi Kenaz, more famously known as Nathan of Gaza, Hebrew, Romanized, NNH as 1643-1680, or Kazadi, was a theologian and author born in Jerusalem. After his marriage in 1663 he moved to Gaza, where he became famous as a prophet for the Jewish Messiah claimant Sabbatei Zivi. Biography. Nathan of Gaza was born in Jerusalem around 1643-1644. He died on Friday, January 11, 1680, in Sofia. He grew up in Jerusalem. His father, Elisha K. Ben Jacob, was a distinguished rabbinic intellectual who served as an envoy of Jerusalem, collecting donations for impoverished Jews. During his travels, he would distribute Kabbalistic works he obtained in Jerusalem. Upon settling in Ottoman Syria, Elisha K. Ben Jacob took on the surname Ashkenazi as a means of differentiating his family and himself from the largely Sephardic Jews of the empire. He died in Alad, Morocco in 1673. Before his father's death, Nathan of Gaza began studying Talmud and Kabbalah under Jacob Hatches. The relationship between these two would continue for many years. Nathan of Gaza would spend most of his life, until about 1664, with his teacher at a yeshiva. During his studies, he wrote of his interest in and persistence toward a life as a Jewish academic. Gershon Skolem, a 20th century scholar of Jewish mysticism, wrote that Nathan was an extremely gifted student, of quick comprehension and a brilliant intellect. His talents noteworthy for their rare combination of intellectual power and capacity for profound thinking with imagination and strong emotional sensitivity at 19 or 20. He married the daughter of an affluent Jew named Samuel Lisabona. The nuptials were believed to have occurred before the end of 1663 when he joined his wife's family in Gaza. There, he was able to focus considerably on his religious studies. Nathan of Gaza initiated a focused study of Kabbalah after relocating to the area of Gaza. His exploration of Jewish mysticism led to various mystical experiences. An example of such experiences is noted in a letter written in 1673. When I had attained the age of 20, I began to study the book Zohar and some of the Lurianic writings. He who wants to purify himself receives the aid of heaven. And thus he sent me some of his holy angels and blessed spirits who revealed to me many of the mysteries of the Torah. In that same year, my force having been stimulated by the visions of the angels and the blessed souls, I was undergoing a prolonged fast in a week before the feast of Purim. Having locked myself in a separate room in holiness and purity, the spirit came over me. My hair stood on end and my knees shook and I beheld the Merkabah, and I saw visions of God all day long and all night. Nathan's vision lasted approximately 24 hours and is reported to have significantly influenced his perception of reality and self-identity. The event was described as overpowering and transformative, marking Nathan's conviction of being a true prophet for the time. Nathan purportedly experienced physical and mental changes, but a crucial aspect of his vision was his belief that Sabbatei Zivi was the Messiah. This conviction led to Nathan being acknowledged as the first Sabbatean believer, marking the beginning of the Sabbatean movement. Nathan's prophecy regarding Sabbatei Zivi was not his only one. As the years went by, he experienced many other visions that would support his movement and strengthen the belief in Sabbatei Zivi. His second vision occurred on the evening of Shavuot in the spring of 1665. Nathan was said to have been spiritually possessed by a Maggid, a type of itinerant preacher. During the spiritual takeover, he was observed dancing energetically and emitting a distinct fragrance. The scent, mentioned in the Zohar, is thought to be linked to the aroma of the Garden of Eden, as well as to the prophet Elisha and Isaac Uriah. The vision described differs notably from Nathan of Gaza's prophetic awakening, yet it exhibits some similarities. One parallel is transformation. Following the end of the Megiddic possession, Nathan of Gaza experienced a change, although this was not physical or mental. Instead, it involved how he was perceived by the Jewish community, which began to recognize him as a prophet and as a spiritual doctor. This public recognition of Nathan of Gaza as a mystic and seer facilitated the subsequent acceptance of Sabbatei Zivi as a messianic figure. The use of prophecies was central to the movement, with numerous predictions made by Nathan of Gaza and Sabbatei Zivi contributing to the emergence of Sabbatean followers within the contemporary Jewish community. Nathan of Gaza envisioned Sabbatei Zivi as the Messiah of the Jewish people, but Zivi's acceptance of his messianic role was not instantaneous. His first encounter with Nathan of Gaza was not about his position as the Jewish Messiah, but rather as a patient to a physician. At the time, Nathan of Gaza was becoming well known as a spiritual physician. Sabbatei Zivi visited him in hopes of curing him from an illness that he had contracted. Stalin would later write that Zivi suffered from a psychological condition he identified as manic depressive psychosis, today called bipolar disorder. Instead of trying to aid him with his psychological sickness, Nathan of Gaza divulged to Sabbatei Zivi his prophetic vision. Initially, when Nathan addressed him as the Messiah, he laughed at him and said, "I had it, but have sent it away." Intensive discussions led to Nathan of Gaza persuading Sabbatei Zivi to accept a messianic mission. In May 1665, Sabbatei Zivi publicly declared himself as the true savior, which positioned him and Nathan of Gaza prominently in the public eye. In December 1665, Sabbatei Zivi and Nathan of Gaza parted ways. Sabbatei Zivi embarked on a journey to Turkey, where he would begin to advocate his newfound position as the Messiah. They would not see each other again until after Sabbatei Zivi's later conversion to Islam. Thus, from the fall of 1665 until the summer of 1666, the two worked arduously on the next stage of their movement, convincing the world that Sabbatei Zivi was the Messiah. Seeing that the rabbis of Jerusalem were very hostile to the Sabbatean movement, Nathan proclaimed Gaza to be henceforth the holy city. He first spread the word about the Messiah's fame by sending circulars from Ottoman Syria to the most important communities in Europe. Then, he visited several of the chief cities in Europe, Africa, and India, and finally returned to Ottoman Syria. Even after Sabbatai Zivi's apostasy, Nathan did not desert his cause, but, thinking it unsafe to remain in Ottoman Syria any longer, he made preparations to go to Smyrna. Seeing that the credulous were confirmed anew in their belief, the rabbis excommunicated all the Sabbateans, particularly Nathan, December 9, 1666, warning everybody against harboring or even approaching him. After a stay of a few months at Smyrna, he went, at the end of April, 1667, to Adrianople, where, despite his written promise that he would remain quiet, he continued his agitation. He urged the Sabbateans of Adrianople to proclaim their adhesion to the cause by abolishing the fasts of the 17th of Tammuz and the 9th of Ab. Travels through Europe. Again excommunicated at Adrianople, he went with a few followers to Thessaloniki. There he met with scant welcome, but had more success in the communities of Chios and Corfu. From Corfu he went to Venice, March, 1668, where the rabbinate and the council of the city compelled him to give them a written confession that all his prophecies were the production of his imagination. The confession was published, whereupon Abraham Halyakini, the originator of the Sabbatean movement, wrote Nathan a letter in which he sympathized with him over his persecution and expressed his indignation at the acts of the Venetian rabbinate. The Venetian Jews then induced Nathan to set out for Livorno, where the Jewish population was known to be inimical to him. They sent an escort with him, ostensibly as a mark of honor, but in reality to prevent him from going elsewhere. He divined their motives in sending him to Livorno, however, and, succeeding in eluding his escort, proceeded to Rome. In spite of his disguise he was recognized there, and was banished from the city. He then went to Livorno voluntarily, and even there made converts to his cause. From Livorno he returned to Adrianople, and seems to have spent the remainder of his days in travel. Works. Nathan of Gaza persuaded the Jewish community through his writings about Sabbatai Zivi and Sabbatinism. He composed various letters and other written documents that promoted an entirely new kind of theology, one that merged the current notions of Kabbalah of the time with elements of Lurianic mysticism, a subject that he studied when he was younger. In addition to creating a new type of mysticism, he also composed a document entitled Derashtanan and Discourse on the Dragons, published by Stalin and Be'ikut Moshiach, Jerusalem, 1944. This article stressed the notion of a new law in which the old positive and negative commandments of the Torah were eliminated. This became the basis for what Gershom Stalin called Sabbatean antinomianism. Not only did Nathan of Gaza publish documents that advocated for a change and a removal of the Jewish laws and commandments, but he also composed various texts that discussed concepts entirely different from these unorthodoxies. For example, he wrote Hadrat Kodesh, Constantinople, 1735, a Kabbalistic commentary on the book of Genesis, particularly on the aspect of creation. Several years later, Nathan of Gaza published Aser Nema, Venice, 1738, a supplement to the Hadrat Kodesh. As evident from these alternative spiritual manuscripts, Nathan of Gaza was not solely a devout Sabbatean follower and believer. He strived to provide an alternative perspective and understanding of Judaism. He also wrote Peri Etz Hater, Prayers for Tu Bishvat, in 1753, and Tikkun Kiryat, an ascetic work according to Sabbatean doctrines, Amsterdam, 1666. His travels were translated into German by Moritz Horshitsky and published in Orient, Lit 9, 170-172, 299-301. Overall, the documents Nathan of Gaza produced and presented were both positively and negatively received by the Jewish community. For example, some of the rabbis in Jerusalem were divided over the ideas Nathan of Gaza wrote. A number of them felt that these written records were sacrilegious. They defied the basic tenets of the Jewish faith. Nevertheless, the composition of these texts provided a further platform in which Sabbatai Zivi and Nathan of Gaza could promote their Sabbatean ideologies. Death. There is some consensus among sources that on Friday, January 11, 1680, in SKP, Ottoman Empire, now Skopje, North Macedonia, Nathan of Gaza died. However, according to other sources, he died in Sofia, now in Bulgaria, but his body was transferred to SKP and buried there. According to the Jewish physician, Shah Confino, who visited Skopje in the 1930s, Nathan of Gaza was buried in a marble tomb along with a disciple. According to Confino, the tomb was engraved in Hebrew with this inscription: "The eternal home of all living beings, the monument of rest of the Lord's servant, awakens and dedicates heavenly glory to him. I did not sing his praises extensively because to him belong tranquility and glory. Our revered teacher and rabbi, Abraham Benjamin Nathan Ashkenazi, may he rest in paradise, who was invited into the celestial yeshiva on Tuesday the 16th of the month of Shabbat, in the year 5440, may his soul be bound in the bundle of life. His burial place became a pilgrimage site after his death. Many Jews believed that Nathan's grave had supernatural qualities. In one legend told by Rabbi Chaim Palachi, Shabbatai Ventura was punished with swelling in his hands and a rash after refusing to honor the grave during a visit to the Skopje cemetery. According to the legend, this illness was miraculously healed after he returned to the grave and vowed to pray for Nathan of Gaza's soul. The tomb survived only until World War II, when it was destroyed. References.
All right, folks. We have a lot to do tomorrow. So, Eastern Europe, Balsham, Restream. I might break up tomorrow's into 2 days because it's too much. Depending. I mean, I don't know. I woke at 4. So, who knows what's going on. Alright, so DIY. Honey dish. I mean, most of these are Yontif. Centric. So if you're like, why are we studying Hanukkah and fucking Shabbat? It's just a thing, though. They don't have anything on folding in here, which is interesting. That one chick is really hot. Okay, Elijah Cup. This bitch isn't too bad.
To use our glass, we want to make sure that it's nice and clean. So we're going to make some paint stains.
Well, they just jumped in this shit. I don't. This Abby may be like, our Miss Rachel, but she needs. I don't know. Let's see. Food safety class. This one motherfucker who drank fruit punch out of a cooler, allegedly. Ice chest. Fuck you.
Hey everyone, it's me, Abby from Not Too Shabby, and I'm here with my friend
Candace. Alright, Candace, you're better looking than I thought.
At the Jewish Children's Museum in New York, and I'm going to show you a beautiful craft for your Passover Seder. Hand-painted Elijah cup. So what?
I'm not. We'll see.
It's an Elijah cup. In Hebrew, it's called a kos shel Eliyahu. According to tradition,
well, you're not drinking out of it,
Eliyahu,
so.
the prophet, comes to visit every Jewish home on the Seder, and we have a wine for him. This cup sits in the center of the table and is normally taller and bigger than the other glasses. So Abby, I'm really excited to get this project going. What supplies do we need? Okay, so obviously, to begin, we're going to need a cup. You want to make sure that you find a thick glass because it's going to be set in the oven, which we'll get to soon.
Kids, if you really want to know about some other things that I have, this stuff that I created, it's called the sludge. What is it? Well, you need this like loose cup, like glass. You got to clean it out, and then a lot of this revolves around drinking over a sink. Sinks are involved. There's not much, but a sink is involved. What is it? So you take I guess just it's called the sludge. Yeah, it is like ecto cooler. It's not though. It looks like it. She's vodka, half Mountain Dew. You fuckers. And I know some people who really like this shit. They'd be like, that is pretty good. I'd be like, you are disgusting.
The second thing that you're going to want to get is some painter's tape. Now, this painter's tape is made by Scotch. When you stick it on the glass and you push down on it, the tape will not come through. The third thing that we're going to need is something else. Now, Full Art, made by Flag, is a great paint for glass because once it's set in the oven, or you can let it sit for 21 days, you can wash it and you can use it normally and the paint will not come off. So you want to make sure that you get a paint bottle that has the E on it. The E means that it's enameled. The next thing you're going to need is a paper plate. Paper plate, obviously, we're going to use it as our palette.
Paper plate, yeah.
Some napkins, just in case you make a mess. I make messes all the time.
All the time.
And the last thing that we're going to need are sponges. That one you can get at any craft store, and it's really cheap and it's great to just have in your craft. This one comes from Martha Stewart. It's made by Flag.
Yeah.
It's a new product that just came out, and it's perfect because it has two sides for different colors. And also you can use it as a handle. Step number one. Before we begin to use our glass, we want to make sure that it's nice and clean. So we're going to...
This bitch is cute for a British chick.
We're going to design any geometric design that you want to make. So I love the spiral. It's one of my favorites. So you put the tape on top, and then you just go around your glass. All the way through. And then you're going to push down on the tape. And you want to make sure that it's completely pushed down, because if not, the tape could come through. You want to try?
Bitch has nice hands.
You can do any type of lines. You can do vertical, you can do horizontal, you can even do your step. Just remember that wherever your tape is, your paint will not show.
No
When
shit.
you pull this off, when you paint in here, when you lift off the tape, that's where it's going to clear. Step number 2. Now we're going to take a little bit of paint and we're going to put it onto our paper plate. Like a really beautiful sponge effect. And now the other thing that you can do also is if you use one side, you do the second color. Go back and look to make sure that there are no little air bubbles. When you're finished, you're going to want to take your tape. And you're going to want to find where it started. And you're going to want to pull that tape off. If you wait, then what's going to end up happening is that your paint is going to come off with your tape. Step number 3. So what happens if some of that paint is underneath the tape? Well, what you'll do is you'll just take your handy dandy thumb and your nail, and you're going to scrape some of that paint off. And a razor also works. You want to make a nice smooth. Step number 4. Now you're ready to set your glass. So we're going to first put down our glass and we'll let it sit for 24 hours. After it's set for 24 hours, place the glass into your oven on the rack and turn up the temperature to 350 degrees. Cook for 30 minutes. Turn off the oven and let your glass cool down with the oven temperature. When it's cool, take the glass out. You can now wash your glass under running water and the paint will come off. Another way to set your glass is to let it sit for 21 days and it'll cure all on its own.
I don't hear her saying that these are food safe paints. So, do they have to be?
So, thank you, Candace, so much for coming and joining me. Thank you very much.
Excited.
And be sure to check out some other crafting videos at chabad.org and
That
nottoshabby.com.
manila folders up the
Have a
ass.
happy Passover. Bye. Bye.
Yeah. Hey, Abby Woolen. Not too shabby. Do you want to put asses in the seat? Get more hot chicks. What's this bitch's name? Or Candace Smith. They call her Candy. No, they don't call her Candace. Oh, Smith. That's real fucking good. Really? Yeah. Alright. Are you done? Do you? Yeah. Doesn't make any fucking sense. Alright, so now what? We're gonna go into the Elijah Cup. Yo, dog, how isn't the cup for Eliyahu like superstition and like a ghost? And also, does that cup have to be food safe? Because generally you don't drink it. What do most people do with it? Some people do drink it once Pesach is over. Give me the breakdown. Yo, great question. You're mixing ritual symbolism, practical safety, and halakhic says all at once. Let's break it down. What is the cup of Eliyahu? Eliyahu, close Eliyahu. At Pesach cylinder, Jewish tradition sets a special cup of wine. Eliyahu HaNevi, Elijah the prophet. This comes from the idea that Elias is the one who heralds the coming of Mashiach. The Seder theme includes hope and future redemption, so we leave a cup for him as a symbolic invitation. This is not superstition in magical sense. It's a ritual symbol, like lighting Shabbat candles or opening a door for guests. It's tradition, not a ghost communication. Is this literally for a ghost? No, in Jewish practice. There's no belief that a ghost of the spirit drinks from the cup. The cup is symbolic and poetic part of the Seder, representing redemption, hope, divine presence, welcoming kindness, and spiritual anticipation. It's not treated as a tool for spirit communication, like a Ouija board. From a rational halakhic view, the cup is meaningful symbolism, not a belief that Eliyahu physically consumes anything. Does the cup have to be food safe? Good question. There's practical stuff to consider. 3. Most Seder plates cups are food safe. Why not all? People typically use a nice wine cup, a designed ceremonial goblet, a kosher wine glass. So yes, in normal practice, the cup is food safe. But the cup isn't required to be food safe for halakha because the symbolic act is not a mandated eating, drinking method. It's more of a mincha custom, not or a Torah commandment. Some people don't actually drink from it. 2 major approaches. Some people drink from the cup after the Seder, either as part of finishing the 4 cups of wine or to make it a real wine cup in practice. Some people don't drink from it at all. They leave it only as a symbolic object, or they pour the remaining wine into the regular cup to drink later. Both practices exist. There's no universal rule. And I was thinking, like, the Seders, I've had and been to, it varies. So what's the common practical breakdown? Practice leaving a cup full throughout the Seder. How it's treated. Common mistakes is assembled drinking from the cup later. Some people do this so they say pouring the wine into another cup and drinking. Also common if you don't want formal 3rd, 4th cups. Using an ornate milk glass or decorative cup. Normal as long as it doesn't get you sick. Halakha, there's no rule that you must drink from the Eliyahu cup with food safe wine by law. That's just personal custom choice. Is it superstition? Depends on you define the word. Not superstition in the spooky sense. There's no belief that an actual spirit comes. It's not magical. Ritual symbolism grounded in tradition. Yes, it's a way of expressing hope for redemption and welcoming the future. Lots of religious practices like that symbolic but meaningful. Certainly, so it's clear. Is Eliyahu supposed to be true? No. Is it superstition in the paranormal sense? No. Is it symbolic ritual? Yes. Must it be food safe for halakha? No, but most people use food safe cups. Do people drink from it? Some do, some don't. So then the people who don't drink it, they just pour it down the drain. Yeah, that's basically what most people do if they don't want to drink from Eliyahu cup. There's your breakdown. Options for finishing a wine: drink it yourself later. Some pour the wine in a regular cup and finish it after the Seder. This way, nothing is wasted, and the cup is served cup still served with symbolic well. Pour it down the sink. If no one drinks it, most people just pour the remaining wine down the drain. Halakhically, this is fine. The cup is symbolic, not a holy object that can't be discarded. There's no special blessing. There's no blessing or special rule for disposal. Use it in a real drink later. Some people add the leftover wine to a dessert sauce or cooking. Again, fine, but not required. But it's okay to pour it out. Unlike wine for Kiddush or other ritual obligations, the Eliyahu cup is not a required mitzvah to drink. Its function is symbolic and ritual, not consumptive. Therefore, discarding it safely is halakhically fine. Practical summary: leave full symbolic, very common drink later. Some do. Pour down the sink. Most do if they don't drink. Incorporate in food, rare. So yes, if nobody drinks it, the standard practice is just pouring the wine down the drain. No big deal. Alright, he's done. We're at this bitch 2 hours. Yeah, Rabbi sent back. Yeah, teach us some more drinking shit. Well, let's talk about that. So within Judaism, you're not supposed to drink to get drunk, but you can drink to get a buzz. Give me the breakdown. Yes, the classic philosophical distinction. Judaism, very nuanced approach to alcohol, and it's all about intent, moderation, and context, and breakdown for it. The Torah and early sources. Wine is celebrating the Torah and time of joy mitzvot. There's some chakka, chagecha. Part of festive joy often includes Kiddush, Pesach, Seder, Purim. Ritual wine is required. Warning against excess. Proverbs, Mishnah, and Talmud explicitly warn. Wine is a mocker. Strong drink is raging, and whoever is deceived by it is not wise. Talmud, intoxication leads to shaming, sin, poor judgment. Drinking to get drunk is forbidden and never. Definition: drinking with the intent of losing control or consciousness. Proverbs such as Talmud. Excessive wine leads to Mekadesh, Yitzhar, the evil inclination to control, but Rambam, a Jew should not drink to the point of stumbling or being unable to perform mitzvah. Rationale: you lose rational judgment, you lose sin, embarrassment, harm, you fail in ritual obligations and self-discipline. So intentionally drinking to get drunk is prohibited. Drinking to get a buzz allowed in moderation. Definition: drinking to feel pleasantly relaxed or a little lightheaded, not out of loss of control. Rocket soda, rum, allows wine in moderation to enhance joy. Purim Kiddush. Some authorities, small amounts of alcohol can enhance simcha, festivity, or meditative experience as long as judgment isn't practical. Take wine for a touch bottle of Purim. L'chaim, perfectly fine. Key is intentional moderation, not drinking till you fall over. Practical guidelines for portion moderation: 1 or 2 glasses for men, less for women, depending on the body intolerance. Enough to feel, left not a stumble. Control your faculties. Must still be able to speak, act, and perform mitzvot. Ritual context preferred. Wine for mitzvot versus recreational wine. Drinking outside ritual context is fine in moderation, not for drunkenness. Age, health considerations. Underage or impaired people are forbidden. Health restrictions override ritual allowance. Key takeaway: top list. Drink to lose control, get drunk is forbidden. Drink to enjoy, get a buzz, quote-unquote, a lot of moderation. Drink is part of the mitzvah, required and encouraged. What is a brand of kosher boxed wine? Right now, boxed wine isn't super common, but there are kosher wine options you can buy in larger formats or boxes, and plenty of kosher wine brands you may find in case offerings, which is similar to boxed case wine. Common kosher wine brands, bottles and larger sizes. These brands are widely available in most are sold in bottles. You can even find them in mixed cases if you want larger quantities. Manischewitz is a big one. Alright, Baron Herzog, that's a big one. Yeah. You'll see these in cases or mixed wine boxes that sellers put together, which is functional. No, not really. Streamlined bag and box is common in general wine markets, but boxed kosher wine specifically isn't widely standardized yet in most stores. Most kosher wines are sold in bottles, but that doesn't mean it doesn't exist. Some retailers might carry kosher bulk containers or special order large quantities. Bottom line. So what's the big one? Manischewitz, that's Martin did so. Alright. Yo, can you take Manischewitz and put it in a bag and drink it out of the bag like a bladder, and it still be kosher? As long as the bladder's kosher, that's kosher, right? Yo, yes, I can break this down for you. The short answer is probably yes, but with some caveats. The wine itself. Manischewitz is kosher, bottle certified. Wine stays kosher as long as there's nothing non-kosher touches it. It's sealed and handled properly, so the wine itself is kosher. Transferring to a bag bladder. Logically, wine doesn't look kosher into a clean container. The container must be kosher, clean. Natural bladders, like animal bladders, no, not would be kosher and clean if not spoiled. Lime and plastic bags also fine as long as they were never used with non-kosher substances. So yeah, putting a kosher wine into a kosher bladder or bag does not invalidate it. Drinking from the bag, there's no rule that the wine must be drunk from a bottle or cup. Ritual wine like Kiddush normally must be in a vessel that can hold properly, but for regular drinking casual wine, you can sip from the bag. Caveat: Kiddush or ritual use. If you intended to use the wine for Kiddush or Pesach, say it isn't there extra. The vessel must be kosher and vessel appropriate. Cup or glass, bag or bladder may not count for formal ritual use according to some posting. For casual drinking, no problem. Top list, bottom line. Wine in a kosher bottle poured into a kosher bag, drunk from the bag, remains kosher. Make sure that the bag bladder is clean and not contaminated by non-kosher substances. For ritual purposes, Kiddush later, use a proper cup. Bag may not count for casual drinking. Totally fine. Really? Yeah. So is that the end of your fucking story? Yeah. So, motherfuckers in Israel gonna be slapping that bag, going out of style. Slap the boy.
They're scheduled for relations on Wednesday. So what is it? Is it they were going to just and that's the case. If he doesn't tell it to acquire, it's not hers. It's not hers. And if it's not hers, he wants to know how to try the ishtiyat, which is based on what Torah says, the person will consecrate his home. His home. This is something about the Arab evaluation. Right? So we're all having to consecrate his home. I'm not worried about this other shusha, just like your home. You own it. Have all your shusha. So to be only you consecrate, whether it's consecrate or is something that you always except if she doesn't own it, they don't have to check her.
She had a lot of pressure on her, and
you know, only
kind of framework didn't know where she was or what she was supposed to do next. Cher, throwing the 2026 Grammys into a little bit of chaos, attempting to leave the stage before announcing the award she was to present. It's just amazing.
And that's not necessarily the right
Welcome back, Cher, everybody. In Cher's defense, the show seemed to surprise her with a win of her own, a lifetime achievement award leading to what appeared to be an impromptu acceptance speech. I'm going to have some words to say. The thing I want to tell you, the only thing I want to take away from it, and I'm going to listen to
that which you only have to consecrate it, or you only can consecrate that which you own. And it doesn't belong to you. We so often forget that people expect of us. What do you think to do? He doesn't expect it.
I just want to tell you, never give up on your dream, no matter what
What he
happens.
does expect to do is a personalistic thinking about all the spiritual tools that I possess. Be honest about what I possess, because we possess a lot more. And then utilize those
everyone is going to be a rock star, everyone's going to get a Grammy,
only
everyone's going to have a
accomplish
song.
that which
Really,
belongs to
never give up on your
only
dream.
asks of
Never
us
give up on
to
your
accomplish
dream, no matter
spiritual
what
things
happens.
that are in our
Very poor.
power within
Live
us.
it, create it, and if it's not happening
El
now,
Pablo
it
was
will
the
happen
case.
soon.
El Pablo, the Abigabeh, I just,
It
this is
may
very interesting.
catch
He says to
fire
her, he
and
writes
crumble.
really gives this to the soul of the sheep out. He says, okay, keep the sheep
But
with you, the
see that
schedule
little
for the tomorrow,
like,
right?
she announced
Just keep it with you until tomorrow.
sort of.
He gets through it, but
Grammy
if
goes
you
to-
sheep for something, let's say something comes up,
And she didn't know what to do.
sheep better, and you
She looked
need
at teleprompter,
is.
she's looking all
Then,
over. She
then
didn't know
Mars
that
says,
the
come
name
out,
was
shop,
on
and
the
give you the
card.
right to acquire against. So it's interesting for you to
Oh,
fine. So the Mars says, that's the that's the zone. Now, again, what's the idea? Why would you do this? Besides how it's interesting. The thing is, because you gotta remember, this all happened with Rafiana, this Shmita transaction.
oh,
The
the
idea
Grammy
is
goes to Lisa Kandras.
here is that something can only be destined
When they were giving it to,
its status.
he's been
When there's
dead
a level
for
of
quite some time.
Oh, the Grammy goes
so
to
yeah, we see
Lisa
it by
Kandras.
Shmita case, and ultimately we see it by the excellence of the product increases. Nothing more just gets over those product increases. So by the Rothschild, I'm not making just on us,
Right,
right?
exactly.
So let's
That's
say,
horrible to do,
same
Cher.
moving
A lot of people remember that now.
moving into summer.
What do you remember on Cher?
She
She has to
Tuesday,
won the Grammy.
the Via is scheduled for
We're live on camp on
Tuesday.
YouTube 44 now.
She goes in and she's not Christian. She consecrates it. She didn't offer it to God. And she's not Christian. So what's the status of the end? Even though Russell is above his Russell, cannot back the Russell. So to say that essentially, making something hecklish is the equivalent of offering it. In other words, really, the says that verbally pledging something to an addition is the equivalent of giving it over to a
I'm
regular
from
person.
West LA. This is
So
the
therefore, we say
405. Making your way
ultimately
along that northbound 500, things
going
will
in
slow down away from just about
is the
South,
equivalent of offering it.
just about Sunset Boulevard, and you see pretty heavy all the way to North Hills.
In other words,
Southbound
offering
delays
it up
at
is offering it up,
top
but
one
being
off
back
of
is
Santa
going.
Monica Boulevard in West LA, going stretches all the way to
It
the
is
710
here,
freeway.
present.
Top on the
So does she
105,
have the
eastbound in
ability to
Hawthorne
have
County
she's
from
not efficient?
405,
Again, because let's say
stretches all
where
the
the
way
shiny
to
is,
Lakewood
in the
Boulevard.
case where she
And
offered up on
I'm looking
Tuesday,
at downtown Los Angeles, 110 southbound.
obviously,
So
again,
it's
it's
from the
going.
101,
It's
looking a lot
going,
better
right? So
by
it can't become an
Manchester
excellent
Avenue.
zone now.
With Southern
Because there was no
California
longer
exposed down through
existence
traffic
of
reports.
the
I'm Angel
In
Martinez.
this case over here,
Hey,
she's
it's
not
Deborah Large.
efficient.
I know that
Wednesday,
everyone
the
is
Via,
afraid of the
and
IRS,
ultimately this
including
other
you.
time
You don't have to face them
the
alone. My
object is
friends
still
at Legal
here.
Tax Defense
So
can help
now
you.
the shiny
Like
is
you,
because the object
15 years, whether you owe $5,000 or $5 million.
What's the
Legal
picture of
Tax
Rabbi
Defense can
Eliezer?
help. They'll fight to stop lending.
Those are those
wage garnishments, even hard-filed bad tax returns. Call Legal Tax Defense right now for free no-risk consultation at 800-649-0664. That's 800-649-0664. Or go to LegalTaxDefense.com.
This is Doug Allen. Here's what's trending. iHeart Sports Network.
Presented by the Second Take Podcast.
Super Bowl 60 festivities begin tonight with the Patriots and Seahawks. The media from their only ever game public appearance. Rams coach Sean McVay and GM Les Snead will continue to work together and sign multi-year extensions today. Meanwhile, quarterback Matthew Stafford won't need surgery. Clippers in action tonight hosting Philadelphia looking for a second straight win. I'm Frank Aaron.
They love food is great, and then nothing food.
Disegnavo risposte proprio via, per pretendere via
Yes, working every second day of the
but
day on
perhaps
iHeart
if
Radio
they
app,
should
Apple
just
Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts.
animal story
This report is sponsored by the new TurboTax store. This year, TurboTax introduces its first expert-led physical store locations, opening stores and offices nationwide. Market your area at TurboTax.com.
what comes out in this case while we were
Because more people are listening to the radio on iHeart today than they were 20 years ago. And only iHeart Broadcast Radio connects with more Americans than TV, digital, social, any other medium. Even twice as many teens than TikTok. And that reach means everything. Just think about the universal marketing formula.
or
The
via
number of
and then
consumers who hear your message
ultimately
times the
again
response
is not
rate
considered
equals the results.
So
Now let's
if
get
you
those
get
results
positive
growing for your
animal
business.
now,
Radio's here now more than ever. iHeart's leading the way.
soon as she has
Think radio's
And then you resell those.
streaming, podcasting.
mothership here in Austin, Texas. For a brand new episode of Kill Tony, get up for Tony! Who's ready for the best fucking night of their lives, huh? Oh my God. How about one more time for the best damn band in all the land, everybody? Fernando Castillo, Raul Vallejo, Carlos Sosa, Michael Gonzalez, Nachos Belgrande. We have the great Dave Scher playing guitar for us here tonight. John D's on the keys, and that's D Madness on the bass guitar, everybody. They have the new Kill Tony band on YouTube, and their hit single Pandemonium is available everywhere. This episode of the #1 live podcast in the world is brought to you by Quo, ZipRecruiter, and Shopify. How you guys feeling tonight? Good? It's good in here. It feels real good. Before we get started, here's a little bit more from the amazing sponsors that made it all possible. We live in Austin, Texas, but we are jumping in a tour bus, ladies and gentlemen, and we are taking the actual Kill Tony show to Houston, Texas, February 28th, and Dallas, March 28th. Go to TonyHinchcliffe.com for tickets right now. Come see an actual Kill Tony show in the great state of Texas. One in Houston, February 28th, one in Grand Prairie, March 28th. TonyHinchcliffe.com. Get tickets now. You guys ready to start tonight's fucking show or what? We are braving the freezing weather, and what a warm, hot show I have for you, ladies and gentlemen. Two of the biggest comedians in the world, two of the funniest human beings on planet Earth. Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you two of my favorites. Make some fucking noise for Bert Kreischer and Rick Ingram. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Rick Ingram. Bert Kreischer. Let's fucking go. Yeah, buddy. Hi, buddy. Free Bert is out now on Netflix. It is one of the top shows on planet Earth. Welcome back, Bert Kreischer.
It's good to be here. I've been here all fucking week. And I will be here all week because of this goddamn storm. Tony, how many mistranslations do you think happened in kitchens this Thursday? Before the storm came in, they were like, hey, ice is coming. I'm like, oh, fuck. Thank you.
No,
that joke's dead after a week, so I might as well get it out.
have that double entendre while you can.
Exactly. Rick Ingram's new special, Crowd Pleaser, is out on the Comedy Store YouTube now. Rick is one of the funniest fucking human beings on planet Earth. Rick was the guest. Fun fact, for those of you that consider yourself Kill Tony fans, Rick was the guest on episode 1 of Kill Tony.
Wow.
Before it even had its name. It was called Hinchcliffe's Notes with an apostrophe.
There's a lot of people who said that my presence on Hinchcliffe's Notes is what made Kill Tony necessary.
It's true. It got the pilot picked up for episode 2. We renamed it, and the rest is history.
What other names were in the running?
That was another
Brian Redband's second podcast.
Yeah, second. It was like his 9th at the time.
The Brian Redband Experience.
Yeah. And now I'm the only person left stuck working with him. So it's funny how these things turn out.
The privilege.
Oh, what an amazing privilege it is. We love him. How about a hand for Red Band, everybody? I mean, just adorable.
Yeah.
He had to lint roll the cat hair off of him earlier. He said, quote, "The cat slept on my shirt. This is my business partner," everybody. You guys know how the show works. Over 300 human beings signed up for the opportunity to be on tonight's show. They're all stacked on top of each other in an unbelievably disgusting bar next door, hoping and praying that they get pulled out of this bucket. I'm going to let the corpse of John Benet Ramsey pick the first name out of the bucket. Congratulations.
Can't believe she's here.
It's amazing the people that travel here for this show. It's absolutely incredible.
Still just as hot as she was.
So while we go,
Brother's not here.
while we go wrangle that first comedian, and you guys know how it works. They get 60 seconds uninterrupted. You know their time is up, and you hear the sound of a kitten. That means they have to wrap it up then, or else they bring out the angry West Hollywood bear. He's very angry tonight, even though he likes the cold weather. He's very, very angry. While we go wrangle that first comedian, we have a special treat for you guys to start tonight's show. A regular who we haven't seen in quite some time, a master of the interview portion of the show, and the great return of the one and only, ladies and gentlemen, if you know the words, sing along. This is Hans Kemp.
Hope you guys are staying warm, driving safe. There's a lot of ice on the road, and not just the good kind. Not just the brave men and women who are trying to make sure these sexy Latinas don't suck our cocks. But the bad kind that enters your home without a warrant. My only problem with ICE is that they're going after every minority group except black people. I mean, you're trying to reduce crime. You just give it more room to breathe. But I understand. Can you imagine the shape you have to be in to deport black people? Yeah, I'm actually training for the 3-gun competition right now. That's where you shoot a pistol, a rifle, and a shotgun in under 3 minutes, just in case I get carjacked at an Antifa rally, and a flock of quail fly by. All right, that's my time. Thank you so much.
All right, Hans Kemp. Go. Bert, you grab that mic quick.
Oh, I didn't mean to. I just, I haven't been able to laugh at this whole ICE situation, so it's nice that you brought that into it.
Thank you.
I'm kidding. I've been laughing all weekend.
Hans, fun set. I agree with almost everything that you said. I didn't understand the 3-gun competition thing at the end. Is that a thing that happened?
Yeah, that's a type of gun competition. It's just where you shoot around boys.
It felt like a very specific type of racism that only he knows about. But he is Asian, so that's the highest level of racist.
That is true. Not a lot of people know this. Asians are the most racist people. I thought people knew that when I made fun of an Asian back in 2021. Turns out nobody fucking knew it somehow, or everybody forgot it all at once. And I got in big trouble, and I needed to find an Asian to come in and be my token Asian. And
This wasn't the Asian?
no, that's the Asian that I got to replace the old Asian.
Is it racist that we both thought he was the Asian that we're talking about?
No, it worked.
I was like, there's no way Tony ever went for 2.
I mean, only one can replace the other. He was the Yao to my Ming, so it worked amazingly. Your life is good, right, Hans?
Yeah, of course, it's amazing. I'm doing great. I went camping recently in Big Bend, just out there by myself, just enjoying Texas countryside, just soaking it in.
You went by yourself?
Yeah.
Serial killer shit.
Yeah, it's like meditative, getting to know myself, just thinking a lot about my life.
Were you on your phone out there?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So meditative. What else did you do while camping, Hans?
I smoked a joint, did some mushrooms.
By yourself?
Yeah.
Dangerous. Those eyes closed all the way. Out in the woods by yourself, just like Helen Keller, like, or Howard Keller.
That is correct. I love it. So, Hans, how long were you camping out there by yourself for?
4 days, 3 nights.
Wow.
Know myself.
Well, how often are you jerking off in this situation?
It's actually really cold, so it kind of
He couldn't find it. His eyes are closed. He's got chopsticks down there going, Can you tell me more about this camping trip?
So you didn't jerk off at all 4 days? I did once. Can you explain to us how that went down exactly?
Can you imagine you're hiking through the Texas woods and you come across what at first you assume is a Sasquatch, only to find out that it's an Asian guy masturbating on mushrooms? You expect that in Oklahoma. You don't expect that here.
And the best part is he can't see you. So you and your family just circle around him and wait till he's done. He's hiding shit, his eyes are closed, he's looking for his dick. And your youngest is like in between your legs. I want to hear more about camping.
Yeah, I had a great time. Amazing, Hans.
Why was he away for a while? Why by yourself also?
It's just easier to jerk off that way.
I brought you guys out here to watch me get high and jerk off.
This is what friends do, I think.
Did you see anybody else out there when you were camping? Were there other people? I saw a bunch of dudes just camping. They were like tactical men.
Were they with each other? Was they were following the general rule if it's not as creepy if there's more than one?
Yeah, they were a proud boy of men.
4 dudes in tactical gear come upon an Asian in the woods. And they're like, you want to go old school and hunt them?
A lot of Charlie references.
Oh, yeah.
We used to fight Asian millennials.
You will again soon.
Ooh, Hansy boy. All right, Hans, another great new set. You got the show started for us. Thank you so much.
Thank you,
everybody. And now we rotate over to the dear, insane bucket of destiny, where we actually meet people. Anything can happen. Make some noise for your first bucket bowl. It's Big Vinny, ladies and gentlemen. Here we go.
I haven't had a chance to get medicated yet tonight. Does anybody have a spare Ozempic they could throw up on stage? I could really use that shit. Has anybody in here ever gone fat splashing before? I'm sorry, that's what I call skinny dipping. I used to date this Latina. She would make me drive her really far to try new restaurants. The reason she broke up with me, she found out her name in my phone was Torta the Explorer. Yeah, that fucked me up. That was hard. It was even rougher that I had her aunt in my phone. This Tortilla. Alright, guys, that's been my time. I'm Big Vinny.
Big Vinny. It's even in his name, folks. His entire identity is his weight. Meanwhile, he's the third fattest guy up here right now.
I lost.
Sorry, Bert.
We know we do those jokes in LA.
We know Red Band's number 1, Bert number 2, and Medium Vinny here doing nothing but Ozempic and fat jokes.
So, yeah, slightly less Big Vinny is what I've been going by on the street.
Just kidding, Bert. You're not that fat. You seem like you got a little depressed there for a second.
Oh, Manjaro, I lost 40 fucking pounds. I shit blood in the morning. Are you really on GLP-1s?
No drugs for me, just running and eating right. Fuck.
Okay, I'm a cheater. I get it. Fuck you.
Eating right, he says. Just did a minute of fat jokes.
Yeah.
What have you eaten today? What food have you consumed since this morning?
I I just had, only today, I really only had a chicken salad sandwich, and I made myself.
Wow. Did you put grapes in it? Put grapes in it?
No, that's fucking, there's a lot of sugar in grapes. It's bad for your brain.
Damn, jeez, I'm getting health advice from Big Timmy the bucket pool. This is not good.
He gets accused of not being fat, and he's like, I better start telling people how to be healthy.
So tell us exactly how you made the chicken salad then. Give us your recipe, Big Vinny.
I had half a rotisserie chicken left for me.
Wow.
Rotisserie.
Yep.
The other half was dinner last night?
Yep, correct.
Good.
So I pulled it apart and threw some mayo on there, you know, fucking a little bit of onion, some garlic powder, some salt, fucking that shit. And then I fucking threw some bolillo, or whatever they call it, in the fucking oven.
What is that last thing?
Bolillo? You guys know what that is? Yeah. It's a little like bread roll that they, because they don't have like fucking fresh baked bread here in fucking Texas.
They don't have
like delis that I'm used to. I'm used to paninis and shit like that.
Where are you from?
New York.
Okay.
Yeah.
You live here now, or are you just visiting?
No, I live here. I've been living here the past year.
Hey, Vinny,
got healthy.
Can I make a note? You're way more passionate about your chicken salad sandwiches than you are your comedy.
Yeah.
Like you get really into these chicken salad
No,
sandwiches.
I do comedy almost every day.
Goddamn. There was no part of the comedy where he gave like a little of comedy. But he wanted to make sure you guys knew that he wasn't just fucking salt shakering.
I move around more when I have more time, and like the minute I had to shorten up most of my jokes, like I don't know, I could try to like do one or two in like
It's okay, Big Vinny. How long have you been doing stand-up comedy?
3 years almost.
3 years. So 2 of it in New York, 1 of it here.
Phoenix, Arizona is where I started, right after the pandemic.
Okay. What made you
traded around a lot?
Yeah.
What made you move to Phoenix?
So me and my brother wanted to travel like around, and we picked Phoenix. That's where we ended up. Like, found a good job, and I figured it would be a good place to start comedy. I don't want to start here.
Since you're a connoisseur, who has better bread, Phoenix or Austin?
Definitely. That's hard. They both suck, but Austin.
I love the
I'll
idea
give
of
it to
not
Austin.
being able to get bread.
Yeah.
Like there's got to be an Italian bakery at least somewhere.
There's a ton of great bread.
Yeah, Chocho Bomba.
Yeah.
Chocho Bomba. What's your take on brioche bread?
It's okay.
I don't like it.
Yeah.
Weird. It's hard to bite through, and it feels like the meat sort of
Squishy.
ciabatta. No,
I fuck with ciabatta. No, ciabatta's not bad. Like a nice toasted ciabatta.
Welcome to another episode of Fat Tony, everybody. What are your thoughts on pumpernickel?
Too much fucking shit going on there.
Okay.
That guy's talking bread. That's gonna get America united.
I love it. Okay, so Big Vinny, let's talk about it. What's been going on in your life? What is that? The fat people talking about bread sound? Let's hear that one more time. I love the horn section so much.
Roasting with a trombone. This is out of control. I think we just got baked. Yeah.
Big Vinny, give us a fun fact about your life that would surprise us about you. Something special that makes you you.
I collect sports cards, and that's like what I've been living off of, selling that. Sports cards and Pokemon cards, singles. I don't set up at fucking the store with a 10 fucking scalp like those scumbags.
That's your job?
Oh, yeah.
That's how you make money.
So I was working at Cheers for like 7 months as a door guy, but then after that, I started selling cards. Yeah, living off that.
So what you do is you steal Pokemon cards from the kids' list.
No,
And then you resell those.
so I've had a single mom, like I was hooking up with a single mom.
Oh, yeah.
Guys, the joke I just said I didn't know about this single mom story. I don't want to be an accomplice in whatever. All right, go on.
So she was having trouble paying the rent one month, and So she turned to her son's Pokemon cards.
No.
He had to say goodbye to his Charizard GX.
Are you serious? How much does a Charizard go for?
It depends which one. There's so many, but yeah, his collection was probably like $1,500.
Wow.
Yeah.
God, see why
I
that
felt
mom
terrible.
is so single. What a bitch.
He took that $1,500 and he started a child trafficking ring. Crazy business plan.
My God, $1,500 for a Charizard?
I know, it was like probably a binder full of like 30 cards.
Oh my God. So did the kid have any Pokemon cards left by the time you were done pounding out this single mom?
Yeah, I left him with some Christmas gifts. Yeah. So he
What kind of Christmas gifts exactly? Let me guess, half a rotisserie chicken?
filled with Pokemon cards. Yeah.
A little brother that he won't pay for. Not unless those Don Mattingly rated rookies pick up in value.
Meanwhile, the mom's sitting like, Vinny's so good with my son. They just sit and go through his Pokemon cards all day. Oh, you got that one? All right. You know, that's not that valuable anymore.
Oh yeah, you don't want this one. This is worth nothing. So how much money do you think you've made slinging cards? If you had to guess, ballpark.
Well, just enough to like pay my rent and stuff. So probably like $20,000 the last 6 months.
So you're out there selling the cards, but how are you getting them? How do you know when you find a deal?
So like I buy collections, like people are trying to get out of it. Like obviously you got to pay like half of what the cards are worth and stuff. Like even less for stuff
You're like
that's
a
undesirable.
You're like a Coinstar machine for cards.
Can I ask you a really serious question? If someone gave you, say, like $500,000 and said invest this in cards, what could you turn that into?
Oh, I could make that into like how long are you talking? How long a time?
Probably 1.5 foot Italian sub. Full rotisserie chicken. This time with the grapes, because when you got that kind of cash, you don't care about the sugar.
But have you seen Jake Paul talking about his card that he wears around his neck? And he talks about the investment versus annuities and real estate, and it's fucking crazy.
It's a scammer.
He's a scammer.
Yeah.
Say that once again for the internet.
Yeah. Logan Paul, he's no good.
Wow. Looks like I'm going to have to fight in a boxing ring in a few months. All right. Big Benny, you were the first bucket pull of the night. Here's a little joke book for you. There you go. Got to start somewhere. Big Benny, everybody. Here we go. Your second bucket pull of the night, ladies and...
Ooh, it's the lovely Heidi, everyone. Oh my goodness gracious. The crowd goes wild.
Hello, everyone. I'm proud to say that this episode is sponsored by Prize Picks. The big game is almost here, so cash in during America's biggest sporting event with Prize Picks, where it always feels good to be right. That also means it's your last chance to get into the football action before next season. Close the season outright with Prize Picks by getting $50 instantly in lineups when you play your first $5.
Tony, Prize Picks is the best. It makes my sports watching experience even better. My best friend didn't even know what a first down was, that stupid girl. Now she's talking to me every Sunday about who she's picking for her lineup. It's so exciting and gets us all amped while watching the game.
That's amazing, Red Bam. You can find your community on Prize Picks with the new social feeds feature. You can share Prize Picks with your friends, copy lineups you like, or use them as inspiration for your own picks. Plus, Prize Picks now has early payouts. If your player gets off to a hot start, you now have the option to cash out those winnings before the game even finishes. Download the Prize Picks app today and use code Tony to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. That's code Tony to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. Guys, Prize Picks. It's good to be right. This podcast is sponsored by Shopify. Starting something new isn't just hard, it's terrifying. Trust me, I know. When I started this podcast, I wasn't even sure what I was doing. What if no one listens? What if I make a fool out of myself? Ooh, what if no one buys my products? Now I know that I was right in believing in myself and launching my podcast despite all the fears and hesitation. It also helps when you have a partner like Shopify and Red Band on your side to help.
Ooh, Tony, I love Shopify. It's the best business tool out there. Shopify is the commerce platform behind millions of businesses around the world, from household names like Mattel and Gymshark to brands that are just getting started.
That's right. It's the best thing that you could possibly be part of.
Get started with your own design studio with hundreds of ready-to-use templates. Shopify helps you build beautiful online stores that match your brand style. Plus, get the word out like you have a marketing team behind you. Easily create email and social media campaigns wherever your customers are scrolling or strolling. It's time to turn those what-ifs into... With Shopify today, sign up for your $1 per month trial at shopify.com/KillTony. Go to shopify.com/KillTony. That's shopify.com/KillTony. 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 That's right, she can talk. So can we. Go to shopify.com/KillTony. All right, your next bucket full goes by the name of Greg Bergman, everybody. Greg Bergman. Here we go.
I'm in a great mood. I'm dating a beautiful girl. Beautiful girl. I shouldn't say girl. She actually identifies as non-binary. Which I gotta say, fellas, is the best of both worlds. You know, I come home from work. I'm gonna, depending on my mood, I can make love to her or beat the shit out of him. You know. How you get away with it? Man, no, officer. She put on the makeup to cover the black eye I give him, not the other way around. You know. Get away with it. It's amazing. Well, I was signed up 57 times. I don't know if I'll ever be back. I have to tell Austin, I have the biggest penis in Austin. This is a fact. Look up. I do. I have the biggest thing in Austin. I'm not bragging. I bought it. That's odd. Allow me to explain. About 10 years ago, or Lincoln would say half a score, I got a penis implant, made a movie about it, big like me. And there's only one caveat. They can only make it thicker, not longer. You know, and I'm a little disproportionate. I gotta be honest. You're supposed to go twice. I went 3 times. Third time, not a charm. I'm hung like a hockey puck. It's really a couple cans of tuna stacked on top of one another, but not that cheap bumblebee shit. I'm talking about that albacore, that solid white meat. That's what I got.
True. All right, Greg Bergman. Greg, I missed the big dick thing. Can you explain? I was doing 3 things. Literally missed it.
I have one. Big dick.
Yeah, that was it. You really didn't have a big dick? I was like, I must have missed a bunch of...
Well, there was just... Yeah, yes, I have a penis implant, and...
You really do?
Yeah, I do. It's fun stuff, yeah.
Wait, you really do?
No, I do.
Well, okay, so let's start there.
Yeah.
I can't imagine starting what else, so...
Is it what I'm...
Now let's get those results growing for you. Podcasting can help your business. Think iHeart. Streaming, radio, and podcasting. Find shows at iHeartAdvertising.com. That's iHeartAdvertising.com. Or call 844-844-iHeart. One more time. Call 844-844-iHeart. And get podcasting working for you.
Like with that sparkling energy. Better for you energy drink that feels like coffee. Not an electric chair where you're ready to sell your house, but tired waiting for the real estate market to improve. Wondering if this spring will really be any better or if it's time to move on and sell now. Call Winwood Homes to discuss your options. Do you have a house that needs repairs or want to downsize, relocate, or sell an inherited property? Cash quickly. Winwood Homes offers a fast, reliable, all-cash offer. Winwood Homes buys homes as is. No repairs, no commissions.
What I'm seeing right now bulging out of your pants?
Yeah.
Is that your dick? That is a fucking wad.
I know!
And those are jeans. Those are...
Touch it. It's not gay if it's an implant.
Whoa! It is a little hard.
No, that's just the plastic stuff.
Does it stay like that?
No, so yeah, it hangs low. It hangs low because it is plastic in it. So,
Bert, are you okay?
That's fucking real.
yeah.
I just heard you tell a ghost story at a campfire, and I got in my tent and saw shadows.
You can dreams really do come true.
That is a solid cock, and it's limp. That's the one you want. Is the one that black guys have in the shower? That's it.
This is incredible. We've been doing this show 13 years, and I have 784 questions remaining.
Well, my first question is, why is Bert kind of hard?
Now this is how it goes. You have to touch Bert's, and then it goes all the way down until Redman comes in his pants. All right, so Greg, I don't even know where to begin. When did you get this penis implant?
was your dick?
2000. Okay, in 2014, I made a movie about it called Big Like Me. It's on Tubi now. The director's cuts down too.
Fantastic.
And
We can watch, guys.
yeah. And
Tubi is the perfect network to pick this up.
well, there was this other movie called Unknown Hero that got to South by Southwest 2 months before we were done with editing. It fucked me because conceptually it was similar, so it fucked me with festivals. So that guy now has cancer and I'm glad.
Oh my God.
But that little dick, he didn't go all the way. I went all the way. I got it. And
Can I make one suggestion from a professional comedian to you?
Yeah.
You gotta close with the dick, okay? You can't open with it because I can't stop looking at your dick. It's so prominent. It is like...
I thought Bert was going to say when you come out on stage to start your set, you just pull it out and then do your whole set with your dick hanging out.
I'm a star. I can be like a star. Shirt off, pants off.
Here's my idea. I have an idea. You come out with your dick out. It has a shirt on, and then you pull the shirt off, and the crowd goes wild.
This is why you're who you are.
Okay,
Exactly.
so let's start with the question that everybody wants to know. Exactly how big was your dick pre-implant?
Okay, so no, we're talking about they can only make it big, only make it thicker.
That's
so
not true. They have it. And let's not argue about it. I know
That's
you
not
deep research on this.
I'm the expert.
Make it
It's not true. There's many implants you can get. Shut the fuck up. Okay, shut up.
They can make it longer, but only really when it's flaccid. Nobody cares about that. So really, the thickness is what matters. It was a normal thing. Everything was normal, or else it wouldn't be compelling. If it was a tiny dick, it's not funny. If it's a big dick, one's bigger. Normal dick, normal length, normal girth, maybe a little small, but over normal. Well, in the statistical average.
You like fucking numbers. You went to a doctor.
Okay. Well, the average cock girth is 5 inches circumference. That's where I was. So right in the statistical mean. But I blew my shit up. I went 3 times, not twice. Supposed to go
First
twice.
of all, circumference.
Can I feel one
You got the measuring tape out?
I got 8.5 inches circumference now. Like Shane Diesel, right next to him.
Wow.
I'm 8, he's 8.5.
Wow.
8 inches circumference.
But also,
that's like... It's like this, Tony.
like
For you to know, just for your reference.
I think I can fit that.
it's unnecessary. No one has to. It's not. You don't have to.
So 8 inches around right now?
Yeah, actually a little bigger when it's soft, depending on humidity and stuff. It's very strange. You know what I
Bigger when it's soft?
Yeah, a little bigger when it's like almost all the way hard. It's a little bit bigger. It's weird. It's definitely weird.
Rick.
You know, whatever.
My mind is picturing the side-by-side of Florida and Phoenix. And the size
As big as your wrist.
That's 8
inches.
Do we have a measuring tape? Just for a wrist. That's not as exciting as fucking homo right here. It's like, yeah, let's go.
Here's what I'm wondering. With something that big, are you even able to get it into a dude's butt?
That was my next question.
Yeah.
All right, there's a measuring tape. Let's do Bert's wrist. Let's see what we got here. Because 8 around seems like a lot. Maybe I'm crazy.
Well, no, it is. You're not.
What is a can?
You're not insane. It's.
Are you serious? Oh, Bert's got it.
There we go.
Uh-oh. Wow.
I'm all teeth, but I got it in.
This guy isn't the king of, goddammit.
I'll do whatever you want, Mr. Bert.
Anytime people go, how did Bert get his career? We're just going to send that picture.
It is unbelievable.
Impressive. You need to lose the joke. Just talk about your dick. You have said, like, everyone has dick jokes, right? We all have dick jokes. It's such a staple of comedy, and you have the best dick jokes ever because you have that thing.
Right. I actually loved the opening joke. Yeah, it was. How long have you been doing stand-up comedy?
Off and on 15 years, but consistently a year and a half. I was a little bitch. At the Comedy Store a long time ago. I've seen you like 20 years ago. I started. I stopped. I was a little bit of a bitch.
I can tell. You have like showbiz. You have like weird like ShamWow guy energy up here. Like you're very comfortable up here.
Not so I'm wildly nervous actually, but gonna get to it.
I can tell your dick's big as fuck.
Yeah.
If you were really comfortable,
when I get nervous.
that thing would
You know what made me nervous?
Oh my goodness, great.
But
Have you
took a year and a half.
ShamWow guy on? Yeah, he popped out once. One time there was a guy on stage who goes, I came with the ShamWow guy. I'm like, the ShamWow guy's here? Let's get him out of here. And then he did.
One time he goes, hey, will you drive me somewhere? I go, yeah. And he goes, where are we going? He goes, my mom's house. And I drove into his mom's house, and he told me about how the reason he punched a prostitute was because the Church of Scientology set him up.
That's the same guy we met. Yeah, no doubt about it. Yep. So, Greg Bergman, how old are you?
46.
46. What have you been doing your entire life? Because again, you have these wacky energies. You have like perfect eyebrows.
I usually do the mascara. I usually get it done, but I put. You were right with the gay.
Yeah, I know. I figured it out.
Yeah, you're on top of it.
Are those veneers too? You have veneers?
Yeah.
Well, how about the hair? Did you get hair?
No, the hair is all.
Nobody believes you.
No.
When you go 85% fake, no one believes.
Teeth. Everything else is real.
Okay.
Fake dick, hair, reels,
and my eyebrows are colored in. Usually I get a professional different eyebrows. Funny. But yeah, anyway, I made some movies. No one, saw them. I mean, some people did, and I was a financial editor, and I did some stock kind of stuff, and then I went poor a few times and went crazy.
Give us your best story that involves drugs and Andy Dick.
Andy Dick? Do you have one? Do you have an Andy Dick?
No, I don't have an Andy Dick story.
You did with that dick, you have an Andy Dick.
I know, I don't have an Andy Dick story.
Absolutely incredible, great. So how did you make most of your money? Doing the financial stuff?
Yeah, that, paid to do a couple movies, but mostly financial. Never one of the best of it, like me. Nothing ever worked out, but they're good. Nobody gives a shit. In Italy, they know my dick movies.
So let's go back to the fucking nitty-gritty here. How much was the penis implant? How much did
penis implant is it's $3,500 per injection. You're supposed to get 2 series of injections. I went 3, but they gave me a discount because I made the movie, and that's why I have what is unusually thick. You're supposed to have 2. I went 3 times, and the 3rd time you got more. You don't know how much you're getting every time.
It's like a Hulk serum situation.
This is how supervillains are made. Was there any side effects from the 3rd injection?
No, it's just
come on.
No.
There must have been something. Did it feel weird to pee or something?
No side effects other than when I went to New Orleans. It's right after that. You probably
got this done in New Orleans?
No, I got that in Mexico.
God, you got beans in your burrito, dude.
If there was ever a time to travel to Africa for plastic surgery, if I go to Mexico.
It's actually been quite good.
Not to mention when they finally cut his dick open and get their cocaine back, they're gonna be fucking furious.
That's right.
Cock mule.
Oh my god. Oh shit.
You wake up, it's gonna be big, we promise. We ended up going with 3 shots.
You have the dick of a mule. Amazing, Bergman. Amazing, great Bergman. What's your love life like? Did you have a girl when you were getting these injections?
I was married when I got these injections, yeah.
How did that end?
Divorce. But not because of it. Actually, she liked it more than before or something.
Well, welcome to another episode of No Fucking Shit.
Yeah. But I think that kind of, maybe it was the kind of person who would do that.
Yo, what up, sissy? How you living, girl?
Why? Why do you think she left?
Can you hear me? Sissy. What's good? How's your day going? Do you speak? Sissy. Can you hear me? There you go, girl.
Did she leave you for another man?
No. She left me. The movie was got a little bit too much.
Taking a lot of.
Also, I had my dad. That's not funny. My dad's schizophrenic. Used to die in LA. Live on the street with insane. And I do drugs. Not anymore, but I used to do a lot of drugs.
What kind of drugs?
Just go.
Give us 33 more reasons why she left.